so on and so forth. So, you are going to be contributing, so it's a panel discussion for the whole room. We together? Now, again, on, when was it? On Sunday, you're welcome. On Sunday, I asked for 30 minutes, and that turned to an hour and 16 minutes. And now I have an hour, so guess what? Dun 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 dun. So, to participate, kindly, scan the QR code. There are some questions. I'll be talking to the panel about our Africa, our future, largely because over the last couple of years, there has been a lot of conversations, engagements, work between foundation community, between community members, between foundation and partners, community members and partners. And all is to one end, growing the corpus of African knowledge. And we've had amazing initiatives, projects, collaborations, impact. But now, how do we contextualize that into the future? So I was talking to a colleague yesterday, and she's into futures. And I decided that at the very start of this panel discussion, we are going to go into the future, 2030. And it's a countdown, it counts down. Time will always come. But what we do is what matters leading up to that time. So, without wasting too much time, I would hand it over to the panel to introduce themselves. 10 seconds, your name, where you're from, done. Then we move on to question. No long thing. So, over to you.
Can you hear me? Thank you so much, Rudolph. My name is Rebecca Janet Nyinamona. I am a co-founder of Multimedia of Rwanda. My responsibility, I'm in charge of community engagement and partnerships. Thank you.
All right, my name is Felix Nate. I am a senior program. My name is Felix Nate. I'm a senior program officer at the Wikimedia Foundation. I work with the campaigns team in the larger community program. So our team designs programs for the communities and works hand in hand with the communities to sort of like work on their projects, advise on their projects, and provide mentorship for the community. I am originally from Ghana. Yeah, because I changed places, so yeah.
So my name is Bobby Shabango. I'm from Johannesburg, and I'm currently the sitting president of Wikimedia South Africa, which is the only chapter now in South Africa, in Africa. And I'm also sitting at Wiki Indaba steering committee, the committee that ensures that conferences like these happens. Yeah, that's it for now. Thanks, over to you.
My name is Zita. Can you hear me? My name is Zita, and apologies if I don't look like the picture you see or the avatar you see on the Google Meet meetings. And so apologies again if you're expecting me to be tall. So I am a facilitator with the Movement Strategy and Governance team at the foundation. I have the pleasure of supporting African communities and volunteers to participate in discussions and in the implementation of the movement strategy and governance within the movement. It's great to be here, and I look forward to the discussions we'll be having. Over to you.
It's great seeing everyone again. My name is Remain Veronica Damaini with the Community Resources Team. Regional Program Officer for Africa and the Middle East.
Thank you all. Rebecca, Felix, Bobby, Zita, Veronica. Thank you for being here. You all owe me $5 for going over 10 seconds. So that's what it is. And Felix has been disowned from Ghana because he's temporarily there. So I think my first question is to the panel, but also to everyone. The theme for Wiki Indaba this year is advancing Africa's agenda in the implementation of the 2030 movement strategy. That's the theme. So movement strategy 2030. Now, in Africa, we have what we call the Agenda 2063 goals. These are the goals that has been set by the 55 African countries, which they are focusing on working towards over the next couple of years leading up to 2063. So my question to the group here is, what does advancement within the context of the movement strategy and living within that larger system of Agenda 2063 means to you based on where you work? So anyone can start, but if you have any contributions, you can add them here. If you have any questions, you can also ask them as well. So over to you. Who wants to start?
Can I start? Well, to me, it means that as Africa, as a continent, as Africans, as we meet here from different places, different regions, different countries, it means that we find a common strategy or common platform that will enable us to see how do we fit together in advancing the 2030 movement strategy. Currently, a lot of things are being done by communities here, but they are done in silos. I don't know what is happening, for an example, in Kenya. Yes, I know a little, but I don't know what is happening in other countries. So what it means to me, it means that we need to find that platform that will enable us to see how do we fit our programs together in the 2030 movement strategy, number one, and then how do we work together as different communities to achieve the 2030 movement strategy. Thanks, over to you.
I can go. I think, what does it mean for me? I think it begins with calling for a need for prioritization. Just speaking to what Bobby is saying, yes, there's of course the need for us to come together, complement each other, but then it also means that we can't do everything all at once. It also means that we need to identify what are those priorities that speak to who we are and what we need. And that needs communication, that needs conversations. And once we know those priorities, just with the Africa We Want Agenda 2063, those priorities, even within each main goal, whether it's education, there's the number one, access to free, for example, education, to elementary levels of education. Yeah, they don't, the priority may not be tertiary education; it is the basics. So, coming back to movement strategies, identifying what are those basics that we need to tackle and build on those to move further. Yeah.
Thank you. I can go. What it means to me, first of all, I can say that, for example, today, here we are, okay, they sing, they can't hear me?
It's fine.
Okay. Yeah, here we are already advancing. Sorry, my microphone wasn't really good. Yeah, what it means to me, advancing Africa's agenda in movement strategy, to me it means a lot, including today. It means collaboration between communities, around the Africa communities. it means coming together, creating situation where we have network or ecosystem to support each other, bringing on board different expertise, skills and knowledge to support each other as communities all over the Africa. And as I started saying that, actually, I can say that this is what we are almost doing today, being together like this in this congregation, this Wiki Indaba, talking about these topics. So this is what it means to me. Thank you.
Thank you. So I think when I think about the question, I'm asking myself, do we even have an agenda as Africans? I don't know if we do, but from what I understand about building an agenda is coming together as a collective and sort of like building what we want as the future for us. And I think as we stand here now, Africans don't have a common agenda. Like we've heard over the last couple of days, a lot of the things that we do are in silos, fragmented communities, we're not together. So I think more of this question to me is rather advocating to me and the other Africans in this room to begin to think about like, how can we chart an agenda that is African, that is for Africa, and then champion that agenda within the space of the movement strategy. That's what I think. And so I think the bigger question here for me and for the communities that are present here is, how can we continue to create this two-way dialogue to collect your plights and to be able to champion that at the foundation on your behalf?
Yeah, great point to my fellow panelists. But from the perspective of the facilitator for movement strategy and governance, I think that the first step to advance in any agenda is to identify the barriers that prevent African volunteers from participating in the implementation of the movement strategy. Whether it is due to the challenge of many Africans understanding what the movement strategy is about, or whether it's about making this movement strategy available in different languages so that everybody can be brought on that same level for us to have dialogue. And now when we get to that point where we need to have dialogue, I think we need to create that space to welcome everybody into the discussions. I'm really excited that we are having the space to discuss, but most importantly, the discussions doesn't have to end here. So how do we continue the discussions from here so that they don't die? That is one thing that we need to agree on before we then decide what is the most important problem that is connecting all of us. What are the challenges that we are facing in our communities that we need to solve in order to see the future or the Africa that we all desire in the movement?
Okay. So I had unification, visibility, communication, understanding challenges, dialogue. These are some of the major big words I heard as the folks were talking. And I see more chapters, solve visa issues that prevent Africans from traveling. And we have another one, African countries get together to have more strength within community. So I believe some of the inputs that are coming from the crowd as well is also speaking to some of these instances. But as we move along, you can continue to form your ideas, build your thoughts. If anything jumps to you as the panel is talking, feel free to dump it here. We'll revisit and discuss it as well. And so we move on to the second. Yes.
I want to put my brother here on the spot.
$5.
So Bobby is leading Wiscom, right?
Okay.
And I know Wiscom is doing a lot of work helping supporting communities that are trying to organize Wiki Indaba, communities that are not yet there or we don't think they're there yet, and providing all that space and platform for them to do work. I know you're also looking at trying to collectively organize on the continent, and I just wanted to know, what is your vision in terms of creating an agenda for the African continent?
That is a difficult question, but it's an important question, Felix.
Dun, dun.
Yeah, I think really, as much as it's difficult, but the response is very simple, really. You know, the first thing that you know, when you go and speak to, when you are an entrepreneur and you want to start, or when you want to start something, when you want to think about starting a business, you know, you have a business idea. One of the most important things, if you go to a mentor to ask for what is it that I need to do, they'll tell you one thing: start. That's the answer they're going to tell you. So, what is it that we are doing? The first thing that we've done is actually to start. You know, yes, we've started, and the plan that we have is to bring Africans together in one space. I don't want to use the word hub, you know, but it's to bring Africans in one space, in a space where they will find support, number one, where we are going to also support them, because now we're not supporting them financially, but where we are eventually going to be able to support them in terms of finances, you know, act as fiscal sponsor to those that cannot be able to get funds, or, you know. And number three, make sure that the African continent succeed. If this conference fails, it's not us here, you know, that it's not Rwanda that have failed, you know. Africa has actually failed. Someone out there, I don't want to mention other regions, but they're going to look at us, they're going to look at Rwanda, and they're not going to only look at Rwanda. They're going to look at Rwanda, they're going to look at Africa. Africa has failed. So as Wiki Indaba Steering Committee, we want to ensure that whatever decisions that we take in these conferences are actionable, number one, but we provide support, but whatever it is that communities are doing, succeed. So basically that's what we are doing for now. You know, we have started and we are doing.
Wiki family, you heard it here first. Bobby is starting. So, moving on to the next question. There are only 3 questions, actually. The next question. We've gone into the future. We've looked at what 2030 looks like, where we are starting, as per Bobby. And now let's work our way back into some more tangible actions. We've heard about projects like the African Knowledge Initiative, WikiLearn, some tools to help with organizing, StreamYard. I went into a StreamYard session and it was we've seen so much, right? So the question is, considering all these amazing initiatives that we've had at Indaba, you know, just opposing it to the silos that the panel have been mentioning, what do you think Africans can do through these initiatives? How do they plug in? How do they participate? When you think about it in terms of starting, right? So, Rebecca, do you want to start?
Maybe I can start.
Okay.
So for me, I think I would have loved to hear more from the audience about like the agenda for Africa, because I think we said our point of view, but it would have been interesting to hear 1 or 2 people say something about that. And so maybe you can.
Okay, so 1 or 2 people, can you share something about your vision about agenda, the African agenda for 2030? Who wants to share something? Okay, yeah. So we have 1 person. Give me a mic. Yeah, sending me is $5 for sending me. Don't worry. I take it.
Hi, thank you so much. My name is Ruby from Open Foundation West Africa. So one of the agenda for 2060 AU is quality education. And for me, I'm looking at how we can be able to offer quality education in our schools, because our school system are stuck with very old books. The books that I studied when I was in secondary school are the same books that the school is using. So one of the ways that we're looking at it is, how do we make sure that schools have access to complementary form of education? And which is why we're doing that through KWIX, because we understand that internet is also an issue when it comes to Africa. When
we come to our continent, we realize that internet bundles are very, very expensive. Aside from the fact that it's expensive, we realize that most schools, most places where these schools are located don't have connections. So how do they get access to current information that are happening? So I think that this is how we're looking at it.
Leveraging on education to get us to the Africa of 2030. Okay.
Thank you. For me, an important agenda item should be public awareness. Encouraging the public or engaging in efforts to make the public aware of the Wikimedia movement, the free knowledge movement, what it's about, and Wikipedia, and how to get involved, and how more people are needed to get involved to bridge knowledge gaps. And at the moment, there is sort of a lack of awareness across our continent of our movement and what we're about, and of Wikipedia and how it works. And if you look at sort of back in history and sort of when Wikipedia sort of really gained traction in, say, North America or in Europe, it's about 2006. What was happening around 2006? That's when Wikipedia really got media attention, and the media really sort of woke up to the fact that Wikipedia and the Wikipedia movement is interesting, unique, and exciting, and is something that people, it's worth knowing about. And Africa hasn't had that experience yet, hasn't had that moment yet. Thank you.
Wonderful. And thank you for sharing. Yep. You want to go?
I'm going to go very straight to the to my question. Hello. I don't need a mic. So, just to resonate some of the things that I've been discussing with just to resonate on some of the things that I've been discussing with many of my colleagues around here since we started the Indaba, and how it can actually promote African agenda. This might be weird, but it is real. Many of us in Africa, what we need is more of support. However, our definition of support is funding. And that is the only way through which we think the foundation could be of help, funding. But it is beyond funding. The foundation we have is beyond funding. There are quite a number of things that we can do that we don't really need fund from the foundation. Foundation in its structure has imbibed quite a number of structures. We have structure that support partnership. We have structure that actually support community communication. I'm getting to know that today. So quite a lot of us will have loved to channel our communication at a higher level within Africa, but we don't know that it exists within the foundation. So I'm taking this to the foundation. For Africa to be well supported, 360-degree support, we need the foundation to come out, tell us actually what they need to give us to support us. We have quite a lot of things to do, but we don't know how to get there. Thank you.
Rudolph.
Okay, it's turning into interesting one.
I'll give you the $5. Hello? It works? Okay. I think, Bobby, as you said, it started, yes, but it started, it's still like this kind of, you know, we attend, we talk, we're talking, we're telling people what we're doing, that's great. But until somebody takes charge of it, it's not gonna happen, yeah? So, Shola, I get your point, but it's actually not us. It's not up to the Wikimedia Foundation to tell us what to do. It's up to us to present a case for ourselves to them or to the Global Council or to whoever. So the suggestion is that people volunteer for a working group that then drives an African agenda, okay? It's not about, like, we can organically do it, but until somebody takes charge of it and does it, it's not gonna happen. And it shouldn't be one person, it should be a group of people. So that's just my suggestion, but there you go.
I don't know. Do you want to follow or should I?
Let me first follow.
Okay.
It's just a response to Shola's point that, you know, going to the foundation, but just from my experience seeing, and one thing to celebrate, we talk about, I think in the last 5 years, there was every, I want to say, Economic Times would always say, it's Africa's time, yeah? Africa rising. And we are rising, and I hope we saw in the presentation we are rising, but it's not one way. It's not foundation to community. It is community foundation, foundation community. You know, it's like just the way we work, the way we live, the way we believe, yeah? I take it back to the learning Pan-Africanist I am, that when you think about the agenda then of Nkrumah, Nyerere, they had one focus and they all shared in it. We're liberating Africa from colonialism. So we need to set that agenda for ourselves. When we think about contributing to the sum of all knowledge, we all have a role to play, but it has to be aligned. We can't be moving in this direction, and it's not one way, it is two ways. And part of it includes having bold conversations, taking that bold, huge step to do more than maybe you have done, but it's two ways. It's in partnership, but it needs another coordinated, I also want to add, inspired, a very clear sincerity of purpose towards that, but it has to take a bold step with a lot of action. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 more people, and then we move on to the next.
All right, Candy from Botswana here. I think Veronica rounded up quite well. I just wanted to share, if we are to advance the movement strategy forward, for me, I think it's more of having representation of Africans in different areas. Let's be in the decision-making sector. Let there be representation of Africans across all areas. It shouldn't just be about support and collaboration, but and also kind of like thinking somebody should tell us what we should do kind of thing. But let's be in those conversations and also discuss that. And I feel, yes, with that being said, it will be really great to know how we can advance. Oh, you can go ahead, Zita.
So, exercise my veto power.
Thank you. I just have a follow-up question to what Ayla said about if we are to move, we need somebody to take action and somebody to take charge. And I'm just wondering, is creating this working group what we need to do in line with the initiative around leadership and capacity building? We already have WISCOM. So I'm just wondering, do we need to create another structure really, or we just need to expand the scope of WISCOM and bring everybody on board to understand what WISCOM does and how we can leverage on WISCOM to push this agenda?
I wanted to, before Veronica came in, I wanted to address that. You see, as Wikimedians, we believe in democracy, we believe in transparency. And I don't believe that it will be wise for us to create multiple projects within projects, you know. For me, colleagues, I think Wiscom really is capable or has that capability of addressing all of the problems that are facing African continent, really. The reason why I'm saying this is because of the representation and how Wiscom is formed. You know, Wiscom is formed by people who have hosted or representative who have hosted the conference before, the Wiki Indaba conference before. What is Wiki Indaba? Wiki Indaba is a conference for Africans where they come together, you know, discuss challenges, learn from each other. From there, from the ground of the conference, we go to Wiscom. And do you think we should go to, again, another structure, to another structure? That defeats the purpose, you know. So I understand what you're saying. But, yeah. So what I want to address, again, to what you have said, Ayla, which I think is a very important question. It is the agenda, something that Felix has spoken about. What is the agenda that we have as Africans? I don't believe that we have one agenda. No, I don't believe that we've got one agenda. Yes, we have one thing that unifies us. First, we are Africans, and we are coming from the African continent, and we all here believe in open source and open free knowledge, you know, and most of us believe that, you know, that needs to be, you know, African knowledge needs to be brought on Wikipedia so that, you know, everyone can learn about what is happening in Africa, and the content that is, you know, coming from here needs to be there on Wikipedia. We believe in those, in those kinds of things. But there's no particular one agenda that we can say, we have this. I believe that we all here have specific problems. How do we address that? This is the conference that we want to do that. But I think Wiscom can actually play that role because it has representatives of all the communities that are here. That's why I was telling someone earlier on that, you know, I feel bad that the Francophone actually is not well represented here in this, and we don't have people that actually interpret so that they can, you know, understand what is happening, you know, minute by minute. I wish next year or in the future or the next one can be held in a Francophone area so that they organize, so that we feel how they feel when they are attending Wiscom, you know. So, yeah. So that's what I believe, colleagues, really. I don't believe that there's one agenda. I believe that there's many agendas, but, you know, these things, they are formed as we are developing, and it's dynamic. It's a dynamic process. Yeah, but now what makes me happy is that Wiscom is there, and we are getting something done. Thanks, over to you.
I've been paid $10, so Dr. Nkem.
Thank you very much.
Go.
There's something that I want us to hear. I got this from AU 2063 agenda. As we were speaking now, I went back to it. And one of the core aspirations of AU 2063 agenda is to build an Africa that is self-confident in its identity, heritage, culture, and shared values, and as a strong, united, and influential partner on the global stage, and so on and so forth. But I think that we should have a little bit or in our agenda, what is that identifies us? What is that builds us up as a people, as our culture, our heritage? I think that it should be part of what we consider as the agenda of the African people here. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'm just gonna, because I've been given 30 seconds to follow the doctor, I'm just gonna not ask a question, but clarify something again. As we speak about the agenda, it's easy for us to forget how far we've come. Now, as the convener of the first Wiki Indaba in 2014, I know how difficult it was to get that conference just accepted, as in, okay, you can have that conference. So Wiscom was formed with a very singular goal, which is, we don't even have a space where we can be Africans and talk about issues. Can we create that space and get it accepted that it's something that's going to happen every year? And Wiscom managed to do that and do it successfully, that now, it's only now that Wiscom can then start asking other questions. Okay, we know how to run this conference. We know it's not going to be an issue when we put a grant. We know how to select the next one. We know how to get people to come in. Now we can talk about issues such as, what are we doing for translations in this conference for the Francophone? It's just totally unfair that this is happening to our fellow Africans who can come to a conference and not hear what is being said. Wiscom can now deal with those issues, and it can deal with more issues because, you know, organizing this conference is a question that has now been answered and solved. So building capacity is not looking at 8 questions and trying to answer all of them at the same time. It's picking the one that's important at that time, answer it so well that you don't have to go back to it and go to the next one. So let's eat this elephant bit by bit.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question, which is how we plug into all these initiatives. I mean, interesting questions about the agenda and whatnot. Yeah, Zita, okay, fine.
Yeah, I would like to speak on the initiative of the African Knowledge Initiative. I think it's a really great partnership, and it could be very useful to the African continent depending on the agreement that we have with the AU. So what I envision with this partnership is for us to work with the AU to help to achieve 2 of its objectives, which is to advance the development of the continent by promoting research in all fields, particularly in science and technology. And the second one has to do with to work with relevant international partners in the eradication of preventable diseases and the promotion of good health on the continent. We all can agree that malaria is killing a lot of people within Africa. The question we should ask ourselves is there enough information going about in Africa to educate people about malaria or some of the diseases, the common diseases that can be prevented? But because we do not have the resources or the solutions to prevent these diseases, we are dying from these diseases. So working with the AU to put more information about these diseases could help eradicate such diseases. Or on the first point about to advance the development of continent by promoting research, how much visibility are we giving to the researchers that are working behind the scenes to find solutions to these diseases? I also envision that we could probably have an internship collaboration with the AU. I don't know how possible that is, but that could be something that can be done. So yeah, I hope this is the vision of the leaders of the African Knowledge Initiative. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think the panel can continue because it's on bang on there.
Okay, so maybe just go back a little bit to the agenda issue, and no, I'll come back. But I just wanted to say that I think Africans should also be happy and celebrate what we've done, because I think we were the first continent that actually wrote an open letter to the ED at the time, letter to Catherine, and in that letter to Catherine, we actually put together the first agenda for Africa. But for some reason, we didn't follow through again. And so, yeah, Wiki Indaba can be the space where we chat about those things, create those spaces, and also actually champion our conversations as a unit to the foundation and to sort of ask for help and support to be able to achieve those things. So that's just a little bit on the agenda. Now, with the AKI thing, I think, Zita, you said it very well. The whole goal of the AKI project is not to say that we found this niche of work that we want to do, and that's the only thing that could be done. We're actually using this as a test to prove to the AU that there are other areas that we can develop within the Wikimedia space, and it's important for us to work with the communities to discover what could be done on the continent. And so, for the first iteration of the project, we're working with folks like the Wiki in Africa, Wikimedia Cote d'Ivoire, Wiki Vibrance, and Open Foundation West Africa, and AFLIA, to run the first set of holidays pivoted, to run the first set of campaigns pivoted on the AU holidays. And the hope is that if we are able to become successful, we can explore the other AU holidays that exist and also explore other priority areas that exist within the AU. So I'll just say that this is a starting point. We want to hear from you how you want to work with the AU so we can develop the partnership around those areas. Thank you.
Ano, keep going.
All right. Are we wrapping up?
Hey.
Yeah, no, I think what Zita has actually said was very much important. However, it made me think about something that was said by a politician back at home. I know politicians sometimes, but they do sometimes talk sense, although sometimes they are biased towards a certain agenda, saying things based on a certain agenda. I'm thinking we as Wikimedia community really are at an advantage, to support, the AKI project, Felix, especially here in the African continent. Why? Because of the young Wikipedians that we've seen coming in the new Wikipedians that we've seen coming in the African continent. Yeah, I'm thinking really if we can rope the new hands in, we can actually use that as a project to train them how to really write Wikipedia articles, in the technicality of Wikipedia. And I have evidence actually that there are many young people that have recently come in, especially since the time of the COVID-19 2020. Some of them we've seen them here. The scholarship is like 50 people that have applied for scholarship that were approved, for partial scholarships are sitting here, but they're new. They are being introduced on Wikipedia. And those hands, they are listening now. They don't want to comment, but whatever it is that we are saying is actually going and, making an impact on them. So I think those people, we can actually use those people, to rope them into this project. The all hands, yes, we can use them, but to also support. But normally, old hands, they've already have established projects that they are doing. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight on that. But I'm thinking it's a very, very, very important project and that we can use to actually rope in the new hands. Thanks, over to you.
Thank you. My addition would be, what can we do through the initiatives is learn and create spaces for learning. Sometimes there's the tendency to do and do and do and do and not have that space to learn beyond the report. A report is an instrument, but what does that process of learning look like, and what does it inform of, whether it's scaling, whether it's doing deeper work, whether it's iteration or pivoting, just creating spaces to learn and to share the learnings. I recognize just in this room, there's a lot of great initiatives being done, lots of learnings, but then is there a space to share those learnings with others, so that then we're not either making the mistakes that others have made, and maybe sometimes we're just building off the successes other groups have had. But also just that, so it's the openness as well, openness to learn. So if you're doing a great initiative or being part of the for example, the African Knowledge Initiative, will we have a forum such as this, or whether it's virtually or in person, to actually learn and see, these are the lessons we've learned from Cote d'Ivoire, from this other place, and how can we build on it? So that openness to share, if you do an activity, or we did this activity, and it's a challenge, for example, to the groups doing on oral histories, which is something we talk about a lot in terms of one great form of knowledge in the continent. There's a lot of us who are doing that work, but are they sharing with us what they're learning? And do we have to ask? Can they also just proactively, create the space for learning? So I'd say a lot of time to learn, yeah.
Okay.
Can I
so
say
we hear from
something?
Zita, Rebecca, then 5 people from the
Yeah, so
group.
just a quick response to your question about, do we have a forum? I know many of you have heard me say this several times, and Yeah, I would say it again. There's a movement strategy forum available for you to use to share your work with a larger audience, to share your work with the rest of the African communities. Like I said, it's very important for you to communicate about the work that you are doing. You might not know somebody in Kenya is even doing the same thing that you're working on, or they have learned a better way to solve a problem that you're dealing with in your community. So if you're having challenges using the forum, I'm available to meet with your community, to show you how to use it, to share your work. Thank you, and to you.
Thank you so much, Zita. Actually, catch up with what you are saying about the forum. Yeah, there is a forum. Actually, I'm part of that forum. I normally read, follow, and comment, and I normally get important ideas to share with the community through that forum. But what I think on that question, and or what I can comment, it is simple in this way. My fellow community members, I believe in this room there are some of the people who are like, what are these people talking about? Seriously, some people are like that. They don't really understand what's going on. Because I remember in 2019, when we went in Uganda, Felix, Geoffrey, Erina Mkutan, they were talking about some of the things. We couldn't get any single point, like what's going on. And now I'm sitting on the panel, at least I understand something. So what I can say, or what I can tell my fellow community members, just be positive on each and everything passing in front of you in different platforms. Be positive to answer, reply, ask, and to hold, to bear with everything. For example, myself, I have been organizing many projects with the user group Rwanda. Most of them, I didn't know how it is it like, started with ideas. But I believe that if you ask me, Rebecca, you are doing it long, I will say that I was trying. And no one is going to mock on me when I was trying. So I have to act. As Ayla said, it's free to draft projects, plan conferences, just try. If you're in the congregation, in the conference, in the forum, you see people talking about Wikidata and you don't know what is it, ask someone positively and try to act. And if someone asks you that you are doing it long, say that I was trying. So thank you.
Okay, so we take, try. So we take 5 comments from the group, and then we move on to the next question.
Our panel, this is Isaac. Just a disclaimer before I go on. I'm on the WISCOM, so I'm really going to speak. I can't speak on behalf of WISCOM, but I can speak from a personal perspective, what I think personally. I think WISCOM has capacity. We come here every year, we have this conference, great discussions, brilliant ideas, but no follow-up. So what I think we can do as WISCOM is to expand, the scope of work, or to increase the pool of members, so that we can have a subcommittees, ad hoc committees that can, monitor some of these things. For example, at the end of every conference, we should have a take-home. What are we taking home? What problems are we going to solve with this conference this year? So WISCOM, a subcommittee within WISCOM should monitor the implementation of, that ideas we have to solve those problems. So that way we can make a huge impact. I don't know, a lot of discussions are coming around hub and all of that. So I don't know if WISCOM can also take advantage of that and, become a hub, which also means that we need resources to, manage some of these things. It involves time, but again, we also need resources that we can deploy to really do a great job on this. But again, colleagues, let's use this opportunity to understand that there are a lot of problems and they need to be solved. Someone has to lead it, and we have entrusted a group called WISCOM. As much as possible, let's give them the maximum support it needs to actually advance the agenda of the African movement. Thank you.
one thing I heard from this question is amazing initiatives and how do we execute them? Look, I joined the movement in 2014 and I've been attending Indaba. Felix said we were the first in the whole of the movement to send a letter to the CEO of the Wikimedia Foundation. The letter actually erupted quite a lot of intrigues. People would like to know what next for Africa. But it fizzled out afterward. Why? There's a mantra, an African mantra, which says, if you want to distract the attention of an African man, put what you want to do in a document. They are not going to read it. See, there are quite a lot of initiatives from Africa. Ask me after Wiki Indaba, where can we get them? We need to now bundle each of these initiatives in a programmatic design that can speak to one or two things that we have discussed. So we've shared so many slides, so many rooms, many things. So instead of coming out of Indaba convinced, we are more confused. Because what next? Everything is in the air. So to complement the work of WISCOM, and also to join my talk with my brother, having the subcommittee, what will the subcommittee work with? Let's bundle some of these things into programs that each of the committee can work with, then here we are. Then make things measurable. Let's set up attainable targets between now and what next? Then when we come back next year, then we sit down on the panel. How far have we gone? What? From there are going to be a lot of good questions, good resonation. How we go? Thank you.
Ok, bon, moi je tiens à remercier tous les intervenants du panel, voilà, et particulièrement Bobby, qui a eu à défendre la cause des francophones ici présents, voilà, parce que il a compris un peu notre galère linguistique, voilà, ici, parce que tout se fait en anglais et c'est pas forcément traduit, donc ça ne peut pas nous permettre vraiment de bien suivre et de comprendre tout ce qui se fait ici. Voilà, je me dis que si on organisait un tel événement dans un pays francophone et que tout se faisait en français, les anglophones, eux également, ils comprendront vraiment que nous, les francophones, nous galérons ici. Voilà, et face à cela, puisqu'il y a des membres de la Wikimedia Foundation qui sont là, et vu qu'il s'agit de la stratégie du mouvement, et que dans cette stratégie, l'une des idées maîtresses, c'est le renforcement des capacités et le renforcement du leadership africain. Moi, j'ai une idée à proposer. Voilà, j'en parlais hier à Véronica et à Karen. Voilà, j'ai dit que, bon, comme ce genre d'événement est organisé ici en Afrique, un événement comme Wiki Indaba, la Fondation pourrait, pour nous aider, nous les Wikimédiens francophones, initier des voyages d'immersion. Vous voyez un peu, chaque année, des voyages d'immersion pour permettre aux leaders africains issus de pays francophones d'aller dans des pays anglophones pour des immersions linguistiques. Comme ça nous permettrait, lors des rencontres internationales, de mieux comprendre ce qui se dit là-bas et de mieux participer. Et je parle comme ça, c'est un peu vice-versa pour les pays anglophones. Ici, il y a certaines personnes qui ne comprennent pas le français forcément, et ces personnes-là ont bien envie de savoir parler français. Donc ces personnes-là également pourraient faire des voyages d'immersion linguistique dans des pays francophones, et là-bas, ça nous permettrait vraiment de pouvoir mieux communiquer quand on se rencontrera lors des rencontres internationales comme celui-ci. Merci.
Hi everyone. Just wanted to translate if there are a couple of people who don't speak French. The suggestion was to create a program to exchange Wikimedians so that Francophones can go to and learn to speak English so that they can communicate with everyone at these events. And why not even have Anglophone
Wikimedians come to Francophone countries and learn French as well, so we can exchange even more. That was it.
Hi, everyone. The deliberations have been very interesting, and I'm going to attempt to make a slightly emotional deposition, and it's because it comes from a place of experience. I want to focus my contribution on newcomers for apparent reasons. I realize that many of us become expert Wikimedians, and we forget what it feels like to be a new person. You know, you forget that meta is the most confusing space on the internet. You forget that Wikimedia jargons is crazy language. You also forget how it feels to be in the group of people who seem to know everything and you're outside. You know, that's the truth. And we need to be, when we're suggesting or conversing about this topic, we cannot divorce how we felt then. You know, if you do that, you disconnect. You're not empathizing. You just say, oh, you're new. Oh, well done. And this person is extremely confused. They're just seeing you looking nice and it's breakout sessions, and they're trying to decide which table. Tea sessions, okay. You see them clustering. You see a lot of new people clustering. This person says, oh, long time I saw you, selfie time. And this new guy is just there looking, oh, okay. It hurts. I see it a lot because I've been there before. I had to sit and read meta pages for a long time, many days. Say 2 months. Every day I was reading meta pages because I didn't understand all what you were saying. Everybody was all talking big stuff. WP this, WP that, too soon. It was very elitist and very exclusive. I was interested not in the pump, but in being able to contribute. I discovered that I could contribute in English. And then I came to a community of people who are contributing, and I felt like, oh, these guys, I'm not part of these guys. I don't know these guys. They all know themselves. They're all friends. They've met somewhere before. Some have met in Germany. Some have met in all kinds of places. And we have a large group of people here who this is their very first Wiki event. And I have seen them more than 10, 20 times clustering. They are always on their own. We sat on a table, I and Ben, and it appeared like we were the only Wikimedians. And the table was supposed to discuss about movement strategy. Where are you moving to? If more than half of the members of the table don't even know what we are talking about. All they wanted to do was say, oh, we have this good idea about an editathon. How are we going? Imagine movement strategy conversation, and we're talking editathon. So that event, that singular event, made me to adjust the slides for my presentation. What use is it to have big terms and all that when the audience don't understand what I'm saying? If you saw my slide, it was really skeletal, very straightforward, simple terms. Because I knew now that there were people there who may be interested, but will find themselves disconnected. Is Wiki Indaba, we need to ask ourselves questions. Is Wiki Indaba the space for new folks? If it is, are we deliberate about their participation? Are we aware that they are there? Or did we just grant them scholarships and say, oh, Godspeed? And then we're having tea. The Wikimedians are here having tea. The new guys are here wondering what the other guys are discussing. It's very exclusive. It makes us, it sends a wrong image about what we're trying to do. We're trying to build. And if we must build, we need to have as many hands as possible. I had so many points I wanted to talk about, but he's behind me. And
Rudolph.
Oui. Alors, en français. euh, Merci. Ouais. En fait, si on le résume très brièvement, c'est la plupart d'entre nous qui sommes déjà des anciens et qui connaissons tout le vocabulaire un peu spécifique, connaissons un peu la stratégie, on ne connaît pas tout, mais on connaît pas mal de choses, on perd complètement de vue que les nouveaux, eux, sont complètement paumés et qu'il y avait ces 3 jours-ci des gens qui étaient relativement nouveaux et qui étaient assez isolés, et qui nous regardaient parler de nos histoires, prendre des selfies, se faire des gros hugs, et puis eux, ils étaient un peu laissés de côté, et on les a peut-être pas assez vus, on les a peut-être pas assez identifiés, on n'a peut-être pas été assez vers eux. Alors là, c'est pas dans la traduction, mais c'est un avis personnel. Il y a quand même le problème qui est que cette rencontre-là, c'est pas une rencontre pour apprendre à éditer, c'est une rencontre stratégie, implémentation, projet. Donc c'est évident qu'un tout nouveau, il va avoir des difficultés, mais ce serait peut-être bien d'arriver à identifier les nouveaux pour s'occuper d'eux un peu plus, les accueillir, les mentorer, les accompagner buddy pendant l'événement. Donc en gros, voilà, c'était l'idée. N'oublions pas les nouveaux et essayons de se souvenir à quel point c'était difficile au début, quand on connaissait personne et quand on connaissait pas les projets, ce qui se passait. Voilà.
Yeah, I wanted to follow up on that emotional plea, and I felt it too. I am one of the people that was trying to go through and meet new people. Who are they? What are they doing? And so on. To the new guys who have joined us in this conference, this is normal. There's nothing magical that these people who know how to edit Wikipedia are doing. They've learned as well. I like telling the story. When Felix attended the first Wiki Indaba, he had less than 150 edits. So he didn't know what was happening. He was also following around and wondering what we're talking about and so on. So, and 3-4 years later, he was the Wikipedian of the year. So it is possible to learn, and one of the things that WISCOM really took it on right at the beginning was, yes, people are going to get lost. You're going to come here, you will be confused, but that's going to happen once. And we're going to be prepared to take that challenge and that chance for you getting lost once. Because when you leave here, one of the things we are hoping you would have done is, yes, cluster because, you know, there's safety in numbers, but also take a chance and meet someone new. Make a connection. I made a connection with a young man from Sudan doing amazing things and starting a group. And I was asking him, so why haven't I seen an application? He said, no, I'm not ready yet. I'm learning. I want to see and understand what the layer of the land is. When I'm ready, I'll come to you with an application. So this is what this event and conference does. It allows us to let new people in. They're not going to be receiving this on Wikipedia. If we don't do this, he's going to be lost forever on Wikipedia and will never come back. So yes, feel lost, it's fine, but come to us and find out who are you, how can I get in touch with you, how can I talk to you? Because you'll only be lost once. The next conference, you're not lost.
En français, but also you to go to them.
So I'm translating. Donc c'est un encouragement pour tous les nouveaux à persévérer, à accepter que la première fois on est un peu perdu, mais que la deuxième fois on le sera beaucoup moins, et à surtout entre les deux demander de l'aide, rentrer en contact avec les gens, continuer les projets, et voilà, s'assurer qu'on avance et qu'on reste dans le mouvement Wikimedia et qu'on continue à être engagé avec les autres Wikimédias. Voilà la traduction.
Hello everyone, it's Nassima from Wiki World Heritage, and I would like to speak on behalf of a category that cannot speak today, which is the category coming from countries that still don't know about the Wikimedia movement, and there are many in Africa. Actually, in this room, we are not Africa, we are just part from Africa, as many countries are still left behind. And I saw, especially in this Wiki Indaba edition, that there are many creative and brilliant initiatives that actually can be replicated to other countries that are still not among us. And I think that Wiki Indaba, for example, or a similar conference to Wiki Indaba, can be a very good opportunity in order to attract people from countries that are still left behind. And the idea is, it is good to be welcoming, to welcome newcomers, but it is also better to be proactive and go look for people who don't still know about us. In Wiki World Heritage, for example, we are having some thematic projects that are concerning some countries with no active contributors. For example, last year we worked with Libya, and this year we are working with Ethiopia. And indeed, the Wikimedia movement, like the whole system and the environment, can be very ambiguous for people from outside the movement. We worked a lot with Libya. We had trainings about Wikipedia, Wikidata, Commons, so they're really, now they master how to edit, but when they wanted to initiate the creation of a user group, it was really challenging for them. Like, they did not understand what is the difference between user group, chapter, affiliate, foundation, what should they do, how to put things on meta, etc., which hindered them from continuing. Like, they need to understand more. And since we were working with them just online, we didn't have really this opportunity to mentor them to the fullest. So I think that thinking about the organization of other events, in-person events that are like, that target especially people from outside the movement, from countries with no Wikimedia affiliates, with no Wikimedia communities, would be a great thing to complete this puzzle of Africa and to not find ourselves moving forward while other people are still left really far behind. Thank you.
I'm going to translate again. Je vais essayer de bien transcrire ce que tu as dit parce que Nassima parle de façon très efficace. Il y a beaucoup de choses dans ce qu'elle dit. Donc en fait, elle décrivait une situation où malheureusement à Wiki Indaba aujourd'hui, il y a beaucoup de pays qui sont absents, qui ne sont pas représentés par des Wikimédiens, alors qu'il y a un potentiel énorme et qu'il y a parfois quelques Wikimédiens dans ces pays qui ne sont pas là aujourd'hui. Et qu'il ne faut surtout pas oublier ces pays-là. Par exemple, dans ses projets, elle a travaillé avec l'Éthiopie et la Libye. Elle leur a enseigné à éditer Wikipédia, à monter des projets. Ce sont maintenant des Wikimédiens avertis qui font des choses hyper intéressantes et innovantes. Malheureusement, une fois qu'ils ont voulu se structurer et rentrer dans le mouvement Wikimedia en devenant un user group, il y avait plein de choses qui étaient un petit peu opaques et qui sont complexes et qui demandent du temps, pour lesquels il n'y avait pas de structure, pas d'occasion pour les former. Et donc, dans une conférence comme Wiki Indaba, ou alors une autre conférence, mais on pourrait très bien imaginer une partie de Wiki Indaba qui soit dédiée à ça, ce serait bien d'avoir une session pour les nouveaux pour justement leur expliquer le fonctionnement du mouvement, les bases de la stratégie, ce genre de choses. Voilà.
So I think it's very simple. Like, with this particular partnership, we opened up to the community from the very beginning and put out our thoughts on what we were doing with the AU. I think what's more important is to learn what the communities want to do with the AU. And so for me, take this as a call for you to approach us on what initiatives we can do with the AU to project the Africa we want.
Je vais juste réagir rapidement. Donc Félix évoque le partenariat qui vient d'être signé avec African Union, donc l'Union africaine, voilà, ouais, bon déjà ça part bien. Donc pour les niveaux qui ne connaissent pas, il y a donc eu récemment un partenariat qui a été signé avec l'Union africaine et qui va s'implémenter sous forme de 3 moments spéciaux, l'un étant autour de la journée de la jeunesse, l'autre étant autour de la journée environnementale Et je me souviens même plus du troisième thème. Donc, le jour de l'Afrique. Ouais, Africa Day. Ouais. Et donc, Félix souhaiterait savoir comment on va essayer de s'organiser pour implémenter, qu'est-ce qu'on pourrait imaginer comme projet pour ce partenariat aujourd'hui et dans le futur.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll be tackling what, or what can we take an advantage to get to our Africa, our future. I will just say, mention two things. Our communities, there are different abilities. We have community members who are technical well. They can write many articles, upload many photos, make comments, and they create impact on the sites. Everyone can see that. And there are other people who has their soft skills. They are good community organizers, but technically they are not that much fit. So what we can do in common to attain that goal is to accommodate all those talents, all those talents. If a community member can be a good educator or a trainer, if it can be good at engaging community, collaborating, making funny moments, creating friendly space as easy is, putting together all those talents, combining them together, bring them different talents on board within Africans that can really support us to leverage with the African Union targets. Thank you.
Alors la principale chose qu'elle souligne, et je te passerai le micro après, c'est que dans nos communautés, on a des personnes qui sont à la fois hyper compétentes, plus sur l'édition, l'ajout de photos, les modifications techniques sur les sites, et puis on a d'autres personnes qui sont assez peu impliquées au niveau des projets proprement dit, mais qui par contre ont des vraies compétences en termes d'organisation d'événements, de formation, d'accueil des nouveaux, et toutes ces choses-là. Donc il est hyper important que ces deux types de communautés soient considérées littéralement au même niveau et qu'elles travaillent ensemble pour organiser quelque chose.
Alors, bonjour à tous, moi c'est Keita Aboubakar, je viens de la Guinée. Donc, parlant tout de suite de ce que Félix vient de dire et les trois propositions qu'ils ont eu à faire à l'Union africaine, il y a quelque chose qui ressort souvent. Actuellement, nous organisons des carnavals, par exemple, lors des journées de l'Union africaine, où c'est des journées même qui sont fériées. Par exemple, en Guinée, c'est férié. D'accord? Et l'expérience a fait qu'on devait faire une activité en Guinée, c'est le Mali qui a été contacté, l'user group du Mali qui a été contacté, qui, à son tour, a dit il y a un user group en Guinée. Donc, s'ils pouvaient faire du lobbying aux côtés de ces institutions-là, parce que les chefs d'État se rencontrent souvent en Éthiopie pour cette réunion, pour les faire savoir que dans leur pays, il y a des user groups qui travaillent sur ces projets-là, qu'ils sachent que nous sommes là, qu'ils nous connaissent au moins en tant qu'association. En tout cas, il faut faire du lobbying aux côtés de ces gens-là pour qu'ils savent que nous sommes là et que nous faisons quelque chose qui est d'intérêt public. Parce que des fois, ils pensent que nous ne faisons rien. Voilà.
Assez écouté. Okay. She was not enough focused. Okay. So Abu was mentioning that there are some of those special days for African Union that are sometimes off days in some countries, and there are some activities. So, for example, he's from Guinea, and he was implementing some activities as part of one of these special days. And what happened is that the Wikimedia group in Mali was contacted for the things happening in Guinea. So what he was saying is mostly that it's super important that the user group communicate with one another and lobby literally locally what is happening to inform them that there's something happening in another country, such as the Mali user group informed by African Union should tell them, hey, by the way, there is a user group in Guinea and they are actually running this type of event. So it's very important that we all of us know what's going on in the other country to be able to do this communication.
Yeah, I believe I already answered this question, but I'm going to re-emphasize on the point I raised. Basically on preventable disease, one of the objectives of the AU is to eradicate preventable diseases. Now, Africans can leverage on the partnership with the AU by using the resources that the AU has to create or work together around campaigns about preventable diseases or about issues that most African, or if not most, all African countries are facing. So probably during World Cup, this would be an opportunity to partner with the AU to improve content about footballers or the contest that is ongoing. And again, about partnership, it could be a two-way stream, looking at the work that volunteers are doing to help the AU achieve its goal, either by providing information about preventable diseases or creating more awareness about researchers that are working behind the scenes to solve these diseases. The AU can be willing to provide mentorship opportunities to Africans because we know that unemployment is a big issue in Ghana. So we need to work together in order to create the opportunities that would attract more volunteers or more youth in Africa to join the movement. And I believe one of the ways is through providing the internship opportunities with the AU. Thank you.
Alors Zita souligne en particulier que l'Union africaine est très intéressée sur les sujets en rapport avec les maladies, toutes sortes de maladies qui peuvent exister sur le continent. Je ne sais pas s'il marche encore. Ils ont apparemment des ressources qui sont aussi utilisables. Et ce qu'elle souligne, c'est qu'il serait important de regarder ce qui peut être fait notamment pour développer, mettre en place des positions de interne, stagiaire ou doctorat. Il y a certainement quelque chose à réfléchir et elle vous invite à le faire pour voir ce qui peut être fait dans les groupes utilisateurs autour de cette question des maladies.
Ok. Moi, c'est Valentin de la RDC. Premièrement, comme il s'agit d'évaluer la conférence Wiki Indaba par rapport aux objectifs qui ont été assignés, et normalement qui est de faire avancer l'agenda africain par rapport au mouvement stratégique 2030. Et en parlant de cela, je vais essayer un peu d'orienter ma réflexion par rapport aux éditions et aux articles en rapport avec l'Afrique. On sait tous très bien qu'il y a peu d'articles sur Wikipédia qui parlent de l'Afrique. Et il y a beaucoup de choses qui entrent par rapport à cela, entre autres, il manque des sources, et ainsi de suite. Et je voulais d'abord féliciter la Fondation avec l'initiative de créer le partenariat avec l'Union africaine, parce que l'autre fois, j'avais participé à la conférence. C'était dit que l'Union africaine devrait mettre à notre disposition des ressources nécessaires pour pouvoir nous aider à créer et à améliorer les articles en rapport avec l'Afrique. Maintenant, il se pose un problème que je devrais normalement poser ça depuis hier, mais en rapport avec les administrateurs, parce que souvent ça arrive quand vous avez des ateliers d'édition et que pendant les éditations, vous vous retrouvez avec des adresses IP qui sont bloquées. Alors, on ne sait pas cette histoire, je ne sais pas si la question s'adresse à qui, mais bon, je sais qu'il y a des administrateurs ici. Vous pouvez traduire pour eux, pour qu'ils comprennent ce que je dis. Comment faire? Vous voulez que nous puissions avancer, vous voulez que nous puissions mettre plus de contenu en rapport avec l'Afrique. Et le temps qu'on a souvent dans des éditathons, on a des IP qui sont bloqués et puis ça choque et devant les participants, tu es là incapable, tu ne sais pas quoi faire et tu sors comme un petit joueur. Bon, on ne sait pas quoi faire pour qu'on puisse pallier ces problèmes-là. Merci.
So Valentin from RDC. Well, first he's thanking the Wikimedia Foundation for the partnership for the African Union. So that's one big element in what you were saying. Then he's coming back again on this IP blocking topic. So we know this topic exists, but maybe outlining that there would be probably some long-term solutions from a technical perspective, but in the meanwhile, what do we do? How do we manage? What are the different steps so that when we organize activities in relationship to the African Union program, and in particular with the addition of sources, Editathon organized around the addition of sources from the African Union, how do we deal again with all these IP blocking that might appear and that will not make us look very professional, I must say. Yeah.
Yeah, so Veronica goes, then we take a couple of mentions from...
All right. So to the question, I think I'm looking at it also the other way in terms of how can the African Union enable the work that we're doing. I think this partnership can also support us in informing policy and African Union driving that conversation in different African countries. For example, on the issues of freedom of panorama, copyright. I think it's not just the days, it's not African Union to community, it's also community working with African Union to actually, in your next agenda in Addis, can you actually table a policy review? Can we lobby these governments and this case here to reconsider some of the impediments that make it impossible for the world to share the knowledge that we have? So that's the first one. And what else does it provide us with? I think as a community. It also provides us a space, again, to learn. I want to go back to a comment Wilson made about empathy, to try and experiment what does it look like to bring in because it's going to bring in new people, but what does that journey look like? And for us, I also see it as an opportunity when we talk about our Africa, our future, that we're thinking about the issues around diversity, equity, and inclusion. I hope a key learning from this space is, if we were to tick a box, were we really inclusive? I'm not sure, just from a language perspective. But I hope we can learn and take some of these things as we on the project. If we're talking about the project, like working with different partners, are we having enough gender representation, issue representation? Are we enabling in places where infrastructure is a challenge, and we know that in terms of being equitable, are we also very keen on that? So I see it as an opportunity to, take a pause and learn and relearn, but at the same time for us to actively, as a region, inform policy as well. But so we need to be strategic as well.
Okay, great. So we take 3 comments from the participants, and then we wrap up.
J'espère que vous vous souviendrez que je ne suis pas traductrice de métier. Mais en faisant très bref, les 2 points super importants que Véronica souligne. Le numéro 1, c'est qu'il ne faut surtout pas qu'on voit ce partenariat comme portant uniquement sur le contenu, sur des ressources qu'il pourrait nous fournir et qu'on pourrait utiliser et intégrer dans les projets. Il faut aussi qu'on l'envisage comme une possibilité de mettre en place des actions de plaidoyer pour appuyer les modifications juridiques dans nos pays, au niveau de la liberté de panorama, au niveau de la durée des droits d'auteur. Enfin, toutes ces choses-là sont des choses qui sont importantes, et il ne faut pas oublier que c'est quelque chose qu'on aura la possibilité de faire grâce à ce partenariat. Donc déjà anticiper aussi de réfléchir à ce qui peut être fait et comment on peut exploiter au mieux cette formidable opportunité. La deuxième chose qu'elle souligne, alors là c'était assez long et compliqué, mais en bref, je crois que l'essence principale, c'est qu'on n'est pas encore dans une situation d'équité, alors notamment au niveau linguistique, pas besoin de vous faire un dessin. Et donc l'idée, c'est aussi d'être attentif à implémenter ce projet et à utiliser cette opportunité en étant bien attentif à ce que on ait une bonne représentation, une bonne représentabilité, une bonne diversité des langues et des cultures et des pays qui vont participer à ces projets. Voilà.
So, I'm going to start by really thanking the people behind the initiative with the African Union. Sincerely, it is quite awesome. And it's been part of some of those things that I've been talking about with a couple of people around. The structure of the Wikimedia movement that we have in Africa does not really support what we can get within the ecosystem in Africa. And so when we have people among us that can help to bridge the gap between what our structure can afford at the moment and what we have to tap into. However, I think Veronica did take the words from my mouth. What the African Knowledge Initiative is doing, awesome. However, we need to go a step further, which include advocacy. There should be a level playing ground for some of us that are really doing this work of open movement, talking about it in Africa. Then I would have loved this question to be slightly reframed. So we have the African community and the Africans, and how we can leverage our work with. There are major players within the open movement in Africa that can help our work. There are quite a lot of policies that are flying around in Africa that our movement can actually tap into. I know about the UNESCO. UNESCO focuses on documentation of heritage and the likes. So I'm expecting Rudolph here to stand in the gap. Where are those policies that we can write on, that we can leverage? We are handicapped with the nature of what we run. So, and that is part of the discussion I was having with Rudolph before we started this. The need for us as a Wikimedia movement not to work in silos within the Africa. So thank you very much. Quite a lot to be done.
Thank you, colleagues. Can we put a round of applause to Shola? And then can we just translate? I'm actually taking over by force now because to control the time.
Le résumé en une phrase. Donc, Shola, le président de Wikimedia Nigeria, pour ceux qui ne le connaissent pas encore, il faut qu'on arrête de travailler en silo. En gros. Et ne pas oublier qu'il y a beaucoup de partenaires en Afrique sur lesquels on pourrait se reposer ou avec qui on pourrait faire des partenariats, l'UNESCO, etc.
Hi, so my name is Eugene Masku from Open Foundation West Africa, and I just want to touch on Zita's points on communities organizing activities or campaigns tailored towards the AU's goal. So we at Open Foundation West Africa, we actually have a dedicated campaign that commemorates the AU Day. So it starts from the 25th of June to the 25th of July. So the amazing thing about this campaign is that we are seeking for contribution from Wikimedians and even non-Wikimedians to promote African content on Wikipedia. And we are not only organizing the campaign at our local community, but it's actually open to a lot of communities. So within the I think the very first edition, we had about 8 or 7 sub-communities in Africa actually contributing to the Africa Wiki Challenge. So we had the community in Tanzania, we had community in Nigeria, we had the community in Benin, and then the second edition too, we had about 10 communities. It's expanded to a lot of local communities actually contributing to the Africa Wiki Challenge. So I think that this is an opportunity for us to collaborate and then see how we can also, collaborate collaborate with the AU and then also collaborate with our local Wikimedia communities. Thank you.
5 minutes, colleagues, in this.
What is your name?
Asian.
So Asian. From?
Ghana.
Ghana. Eugène rappelait le projet Wiki Challenge, qui est un projet qui a lieu au printemps et sur lequel ils ont été une dizaine de communautés à participer l'année dernière, enfin cette année, et donc il invite à venir rejoindre le projet et collaborer. Vous aurez noté, je parle aux francophones, qu'il y a une petite confusion qui se crée par le fait qu'on a un projet d'éducation qui s'appelle le Wiki Challenge et que lui, il a un projet... voilà. Ça rajoute un petit degré de confusion des fois dans les... Lui, c'est African Wiki Challenge. Voilà.
Okay. Moi, on m'appelle Mermoz Adodo, je viens du Bénin. C'est pour revenir sur ce que Valentin a dit, les blocages d'adresse IP. C'est un problème récurrent parce qu'en Afrique, ce n'est pas facile pour nous de mobiliser la communauté. Et vous voyez, vous êtes là, on dit, ben, il y a blocage d'adresse IP, alors que les nouvelles personnes qui sont venues ne comprennent pas ce qu'on appelle adresse IP. Maintenant, tu fais des requêtes aux administrateurs, ils commencent à développer des mots techniques, proxy ouvert. Je dis, mais moi, je ne peux pas faire ce boulot et revenir encore sur, commencer par expliquer aux nouveaux contributeurs qu'il y a proxy ouvert. Non, facilitez-nous les choses. Et donc, finalement, j'ai vociféré dans les groupes, et finalement, ce que je fais, la stratégie que j'ai trouvée, c'est que avant les ateliers, tout le monde crée leur compte et je fais une requête aux administrateurs pour dire, bon voilà, j'ai un atelier demain ou bien après-demain, facilitez-moi les choses. Je ne veux pas être en atelier et revenir encore sur l'ordinateur et commencer par vous parler. Donc, ça a commencé par marcher un peu. Et je crois France est revenue une fois et a fait genre une lettre pour que tout le monde puisse signer, je ne me rappelle plus. Et effectivement, ça a commencé par porter. Et depuis un certain nombre de temps, il y a moins de blocage d'adresse IP. Donc, je ne sais pas ceux qui vont le faire. Est-ce que c'est les administrateurs? Est-ce que c'est la fondation? Il faut nous éviter ce genre de choses-là. Blocage d'adresse IP, pour si ouvert, on n'est pas encore à ce niveau. Facilitez-nous les choses. Merci beaucoup.
So Mermoz from Benin is coming back on the issue of the IP address blocking, outlining that what he two things. First, he notices that each time the people are blocked, the language that is being proposed for them is super technical, and most editors have no idea what they are being asked to do. So there's really a problem of trying to facilitate the path for getting unblocked. The second thing he said, recently it has actually become slightly better, so maybe we are beginning to get there. I will share again on the Telegram channel. I created a page after there were so many complaints. About 6 months ago, I created a page where we started recording témoignages, stories, complaints about all the people who got blocked, in particular during editathons, so that it would help the steward and the foundation and the technical community to understand that it's a real problem. So I will share again the link. Again, if you have some stories to tell, go there. Do not hesitate to share the message, the link as well. Thank you, Mermoz.
So colleagues, in the interest of time, the next session actually is very much tied to this. very, very much actually tied to this. In fact, some of the things that have been spoken about, it was something that we were aiming to speak about in the next session. So I want to open the floor, I want to open the floor for this next 15 minutes. I know that we've been tying this with the AU, but we also have been talking about community reflections. So I'm gonna let Rudolph continue. If there is anything that you want to reflect about in the next 15 minutes, just, you can voice, you can continue with that.
Okay, thank you all so much for participating. We are at the end of this particular session, so we'll give the panelists one more round to give their final word. Oh, they've left? Okay, off. And yeah, community reflections.
So, all right, so maybe before we begin with the community reflections in the 15 minutes, I want to call, all right, are you ready? All right, I want to call Geoffrey. I want to call Geoffrey to make an announcement. And then I will say something after that. And then I will call Boris to come again, say something. Yeah, Geoffrey, over to you.
Hello everyone. So my name is Geoffrey Gaterega from Uganda, and I'm just here to tell you something about the sound logo. How many people have heard about the sound logo? Okay, very many people, but not everyone. So yeah, if you have not yet heard about the sound logo, as a movement, we are looking for the sound logo that we'll use to associate with all our projects. So we're talking about how do we advance Africa's agenda in the future of the movement. So one of the ways that you can really do that is by making sure you vote, for the sound logo. So there was a call for people to submit ideas for the sound logo. Over 3,000 submissions were made, but out of those, the list is being cut down to only 13. Okay? So it went to 100, it went to 40. I was lucky to be one of the selection committee members that is cutting it down to only 13. But now, to choose the only one logo that will be associated with Wikipedia, we need your hand. We need you to help to vote. So the voting will be open in the first week of December, from the 29th actually of November. So once that voting is open, it will be only open for 2 weeks. But it would be nice for you to hear that logo and I was part of the voting. So please, when the voting happens, the first thing you should do, vote. But most importantly, ask your community members to vote. It's very easy. You'll hear sound, you like it, vote and say, yeah, this is what I want the sound logo for Wikipedia to sound like. So if you want to know more about what the sound logo is, and also listen to some of the submissions that were made, just go to that website, soundlogo.wikimedia.org. Or you can find it from Romeo's Twitter hand. I think he has already tweeted it. But yeah, thank you, and I'll hand over to Dolph. Thank you.
Rebonjour, je vais traduire. Donc, on vous propose à présent de voter pour le logo sonore du mouvement Wikimedia. Il y a eu énormément de propositions. Il y a une carte notamment qui est disponible avec toutes les propositions proposées par pays. Vous êtes maintenant invités à aller voter en ligne à travers la plateforme qui a été tweetée par Roméo. Voilà. Donc, il a envoyé le lien sur Twitter.
Thank you. So I just wanted to say something about the session that we just had. So like I think Mariana said on the first day, at the foundation we're trying to organize more regionally and to provide spaces like this for us to talk with the communities. So I just want to encourage you guys to think about how we can create two-way dialogues to learn more from the community so we can work in your best interest. And so I just wanted to highlight this as part of my last remarks here. Thank you.
avec une recommandation liée au travail de la Fondation dernièrement, qui est que la Fondation essaye de travailler de plus en plus de manière régionale, donc de penser en termes de regroupement de pays. Donc voilà, n'hésitez pas à garder ça en tête.
Ah, okay. I thought Chief should speak first, but okay. So hello everyone, my name is Anas, I am from Morocco, and this is a reflection session, but I wanted to link it with what was said before, because I think everything is connected at the end. So when there was this discussion about the partnership with the African Union, in my head I was thinking, is it something done by the Wikimedia Foundation, or is it something that is done by the communities? Like, it was unclear for me. But I want to generalize this a little bit more. By generalizing, I mean that it's important that we know the roles and responsibilities of the different parts, and that everyone present, especially in conferences, actually know what everyone is doing. I know that this is the end of the conference. I should have said this the first day, but the most important is to mingle. You know, as Vincent said, as Dumi said, as many people said, try to go to everyone. We still have time. Try to go to everyone and ask, what are you doing? Are you a community member? Are you writing in this language? Are you working with the foundation? What's your exact role? Because otherwise it's very difficult. The reason why I'm saying this, it's because I'm part of the Movement Charter Drafting Committee. We had a talk about it yesterday. I had the worst voice. But we are working a lot on roles and responsibilities and trying to document them. So it's important. And many of the problems that we have in our region can be solved if we know who to talk to and who is the responsible. Because sometimes we talk about IP block, grant, IP block, grant. But if we say it to the wrong person, it will not be solved. So it's really important to identify who has which role, who has which responsibility, and it makes things most really effective. And thank you.
Alors, une petite traduction pour les francophones. Alors, Anas revenait sur une expérience personnelle qui était que quand on lui a d'abord dit que la Fondation allait faire un partenariat avec l'Union africaine, il comprenait pas très bien de quoi il retournait. Et donc, il voulait nous dire par là que c'est important qu'on explique bien dans ces conférences, notamment qui est responsable de quoi, quels sont les rôles, quelles sont les responsabilités, et qu'on profite d'une occasion comme celle-ci pour aller les uns vers les autres et pour dire bah alors qu'est-ce que tu fais, tu es en charge de quoi, notamment parce qu'il y a des questions qui touchent le continent de l'Afrique qui peuvent être réglées en parlant à la bonne personne et pas simplement en disant voilà on a ce problème à la cantonade. Donc par exemple pour les problèmes d'IP, les problèmes de financement, etc. Peut-être essayer de trouver la bonne personne à qui parler. Donc il nous invite à faire du réseautage le plus possible dans l'heure qui nous reste et à aller se renseigner sur les gens qui sont ici et sur leurs rôles et leurs responsabilités.
Yeah, thank you so much. I have some reflections on the contributions that we have been made. We've been organizing a lot of campaigns across Africa, and we see that there's so much content that is being created online on different language Wikipedias. And one of the things that made me think about what I'm about to say was the fact that when we finished the Africa Wiki Challenge, we're sharing outcome with our partner, which is the UNESCO Ghana. And they were like, so how do people get to know where all these contents are, and how does it get to benefit them? And so what I'm thinking is that in as much as we are contributing on different local wikis and all that, we should also think about how people can know that, okay, there's this kind of content here, this is where you can find them and all that. So this is my reflection. How do we get to do that in a way that is more easy for someone who is not in the Wikimedia movement or a Wikipedian to understand and then know that, okay, there's something like this? Because I personally, until maybe 2019, I didn't even know about the Wikimedia movement, that there's something like that, you know. So getting to like the ordinary person to know about the content that is being produced is also very important. And also I wanted to understand what are the page views on the local Wikipedias that we have? How are people using it? Is this something, we want to understand how impactful the contents that we are creating on them are, like across the continent, so that we can appreciate the impact that we are making in the contributions that we are putting on these platforms. Thank you.
Petite traduction rapide. Ruby soulève trois problèmes, je dirais. Le premier, c'est un problème de communication sur ce qui est fait au niveau du mouvement auprès du grand public, pour que les gens sachent ce qui est fait, ce qui existe, ce qui est disponible. Le deuxième, ce serait un problème de knowledge management. Comment on fait pour que les nouveaux sachent où trouver les informations. Et le quatrième, c'est un problème qu'elle rencontre, elle, de son côté. Comment connaître l'impact de nos contributions. Donc, elle disait, en gros, on contribue sur des petits wikis, dans des langues, enfin des jeunes wikis, on va dire, qui ont encore peu d'articles. Et donc, on voudrait savoir si nos pages sont lues, par combien de personnes, comment savoir ce genre de choses. Voilà.
Okay. Hi everyone. So I'm Mauton. I work for the foundations and the movement strategy and governance team. I will start in French and then, translate in English. It will be really quick. J'ai quelques points en fait. Et, suite à cette conversation-là qu'on a eue, je pense que il est important pour l'Afrique, en tout cas pour nous Africains, de parler, c'est-à-dire d'être présent lorsqu'il y a des conversations, des discussions sur la stratégie du mouvement. C'est important. Parce que voilà, si on parle de conversation, il n'y a que 1, 2, 3 personnes qui viennent. Si on ne parle pas, on ne peut pas se faire entendre. Donc c'est important de se faire entendre. Et puis la deuxième chose, je pense qu'il est important qu'on valorise le travail offline, c'est-à-dire ce qu'on ne fait pas sur les wikis. Il y a pas mal de personnes qui travaillent dans les communautés, qui organisent, mais on a un peu cette tendance-là à dire combien de contributions tu as, combien de trucs tu as, combien de trucs tu as. On n'est pas là que pour éditer, on est aussi là pour participer à la vie du mouvement, pour participer à la stratégie, à la gouvernance. Donc c'est important aussi d'être présent là. Et puis je vais aussi profiter de l'occasion pour remercier les bénévoles qui travaillent sur le terrain, notamment qui nous ont beaucoup aidés lors des élections et qui vont également nous aider pour la charte du mouvement, à organiser des conversations dans leur communauté. C'est comme ça qu'on va pouvoir avoir des avis à la base, qu'on va remonter aux différents comités. Anna s'en a parlé un peu hier. Je pense que c'est important aussi de réfléchir dans ce sens. Then I will move to English. I just said that it's important for African how we are to speak up, to be present, to be around the table. Not only just edit wiki. Governance matters. Movement strategy matters for us. So we need to be there, not only on African channels. Sometimes I think, I have the reflection, say, why some people speak up in African channel, but not in more general channels, like Wikimedia general Telegram group. It's rare to see, Africans speak up there. No, we need to be around the table, it's important. And then I just added that I want to take the opportunity to thank volunteers on the ground who help, translating, distributing things in the community on the ground. And especially during the body elections, there had been a program called the Election Volunteers. And they help us a lot, mobilizing votes in Africa. And I want to thank people from Ghana, Faisal, Rebecca from Uganda, and many people here help us. And we are going to do the same for the Movement Charter program. We have the Movement Ambassador program. That is to collect the voices on the ground and to take them up. So please be there, be there. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. My name is Dien, for short. I'm from Ghana. What I would just like to add upon all these discussions we've been having is the issue of the language or the language barrier. Going forward, perhaps by next year, Wiki Indaba, we just spoke about AU, that's African Union. When they go on meetings or when they go for their summits, they all speak different languages, but they don't get to translate. There are headsets that help with the translation. So maybe going forward by next Indaba, if we are organizing it in maybe an Anglophone country, we can get to have those headsets that translate for our Francophone speakers. And if it is in a Francophone country, then we get some few headsets that can translate to those who also speak English, so that we get to maximize time and also get everybody involved in the conversation instead of keeping others outside. Like the French that has come up today has just made me feel very bad, meaning over the past few days that we've been here, sorry to say some of them have been left out, and that is so disheartening. So let's think of this, and I think that challenge is to WISCON. Thank you so much.
Traduction rapide, c'est une proposition pour que les prochaines Wiki Indaba qui sont dans des pays anglophones se fassent avec des petits headsets, des écouteurs, où on aurait une traduction simultanée qui permettrait de ne pas perdre de temps et d'inclure tout le monde et peut-être même d'inviter plus de francophones à la Wiki Indaba.
Hi everyone, this is Abel from DR Congo. I'm going to speak as Malton, French, then English. Alors, rapidement, j'ai 3 points sur lesquels je voulais un peu qu'on partage. Je vais un peu commencer par ce que disait Malton tout à l'heure sur les contribs offline. Et je suis content que Véronique soit là aussi, qui est de Grant. En fait, il s'est posé un problème aussi à la Fondation parce que je me rappelle que quand on doit implémenter des activités telles que Kiwix dans le pays, la Fondation a du mal à offrir des subventions pour ces genres de projets. Bon, on peut essayer de comprendre dans le sens que la Fondation s'est dit comment on va mesurer l'impact, est-ce que ça sera fait tel qu'on veut, ainsi de suite. Ben, je ne pense pas que ça devrait être vraiment un frein pour offrir des subventions pour ces genres de projets. Parce que quelque part, j'appellerais à la Fondation d'encourager aussi la confiance aux communautés qui existent déjà. Comment voulez-vous une communauté qui a 5 ans d'existence, 6 ans d'existence, qui demande une subvention pour implémenter un projet offline, vous refusez sous prétexte qu'on n'aura pas un dashboard pour voir ces métriques-là. Donc, peut-être question de réfléchir un peu, qu'est-ce qu'il faut faire pour qu'à votre niveau, vous ayez une façon de mesurer l'impact, mais au lieu de refuser carrément ce genre d'activité. Ça décourage parce que l'Afrique, nous vivons dans une Afrique où tout le monde n'est pas connecté. Et pour nous, c'est l'occasion, par exemple, d'utiliser Kiwix, soit dans des écoles, soit dans des universités, dans des hôpitaux, ainsi de suite, pour essayer d'aider tout le monde à accéder à Wikipédia. On voudrait que tout le monde ait accès à l'information. Donc ça, c'est un élément. Et justement, parce que je parle aussi des dashboards, je voulais peut-être rappeler aux organisateurs d'événements ici d'essayer d'éviter de rester trop figés dans les dashboards, parce que j'ai constaté, j'ai essayé un peu d'évaluer beaucoup d'activités que nous faisons à travers l'Afrique. Parfois, je me pose des questions. C'est vrai vraiment ça? On vous dit, on a fait telle activité, vous voyez les dashboards, vous avez des chiffres tellement élevés, alors on s'arrête à ça, parce que parfois on se demande, est-ce que les dashboards reflètent la réalité de ce qui s'est passé? Pourquoi j'ai dit ça? Parce qu'il peut arriver que dans un événement, il y ait juste 1 ou 2 contributeurs qui essaient de faire le plus de choses, et du coup, parce qu'eux, ils vont travailler un peu beaucoup plus, et parce que les tableaux de bord sera là pendant 1 mois ou 2. Voilà, juste ces 2 ou 3 personnes vont faire 80% du travail. Alors qu'en réalité, ça ne reflète pas ce qu'il y a de ce qu'on voulait. Donc, l'idée, c'est que aux organisateurs d'événements d'essayer d'aller au-delà des chiffres, qu'on ne soit pas seulement figé chiffres, mais qu'on voit aussi les retombées. On a fait une formation. Est-ce qu'un mois après, 2 mois après, ces personnes continuent à contribuer? C'est-à-dire question de suivre un peu le graphe. Parce que le constat, c'est peut-être on a fait la formation, nous sommes là, mais est-ce que 2 mois après, on essaie de monter ou c'est à plat et puis ça finit comme ça? Donc, et le dernier point, je voulais aussi, toujours dans cette même optique, les organisateurs d'événements internationaux tels que Wiki Indaba, Wiki Convention francophone, surtout dans les scholarships, qu'il y ait un peu plus d'équité et qu'on essaie de réfléchir aussi à la diversité de participants. Parce que par moment, il y a certaines frustrations, certaines personnes se posent la question, pourquoi nous n'avons pas été retenus, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé? Alors, il serait idéal pour ces organisateurs d'essayer soit de mettre des règles carrément que tout le monde comprend. Parce que du point de vue transparent, c'est très important. Je crois que c'est ce qu'on fait avec Wikifranca, un peu, on essaie de voir ces règles. Mais sur Wiki Indaba, les gens n'ont pas vu ça. Ça a créé un peu, pour certaines personnes, de frustration. Donc, essayez de voir comment vous pouvez améliorer cela et essayer de voir, voilà, nous voudrions que ce soit inclusif, qu'il y ait beaucoup de pays qui soient là, qu'il y ait beaucoup de personnes qui soient là, et non pas seulement une certaine catégorie de gens. So, very quickly, for English-speaking people, I was just talking about offline contribution. So we won't implement activities like Kiwix in our countries, but sometimes we can't have grant from the foundation because they don't know how to measure the impact of the activity. So they just say, no, we cannot fund this. So my suggestion, my call here is that to tell them they should also learn to trust the organizer, local organizer. People are organizing activity for 5 years, 7 years. The foundation needs also to trust them to run such activities. The other one, I was talking about the dashboard. I was calling for organizers. We must do our best to go over just the numbers in the dashboard because I've done just a little research. I've seen that most of activities we do, we can have a high number of contribution. But if you try to go deeper, you'll see that there are just a tiny group of people contributing. You can have something as 80% of people contributing. That make it very high. So we have to try to see what to do more apart from just seeing the numbers. We have this number of contribution, number of edits. So the last thing is about equity in scholarship. I was calling people from Wiki Indaba, Wiki Convention Conference, and so at the conference when granting scholarship, you have to think about diversity to see we need to bring so many people, not only a group or a category of people, and that creates frustration for other people who didn't get scholarship, and they try to think, why didn't get scholarship? So you could just write the rule, the policies that this is what we are going to follow to grant scholarship. It can help everyone feel happy in the movement. Thank you.
So I want to just chip in something little for the lack of want of time. Thank you. So many great ideas have come up. Brilliant solutions have been proposed, and it sounds so remarkable. I'm really excited that we are making progress, having these open conversations. One reflection that I haven't heard come up is the fact that people don't have time. Time. Yes. Time to participate in, meta-level discussions. Time to participate in the discussions that can actually bring the African perspectives on board. It's a bit easy to sort of neglect this aspect of this capability to be able to participate. But I want us to really think about it in the sense that we have a lot of issues that the foundation could help us with, funding this and that. But we would also like to have discussions around, some of the things that we can do, given that we have this structural problem in this part of the world, that people don't have time, people don't have, internet access, but primarily Africans don't have time. So, I just want to spark a thought in your minds when you go back to your local communities. How can we maximize the little time that we have to be able to participate? when you look at some of these conversations that are happening, the movement strategy conversations, you really have to sit down and give it time to even understand what is going on. But how many of us have that? So, yeah, so many great ideas, like I said, but we need to be able to figure out how to be able to maximize our time efficiently, to be able to engage in a way that is meaningful. So I hope this, sorry, but you get what I mean.
Alors, en 2 phrases, toutes les propositions qui ont été faites aujourd'hui prouvent qu'on avance et qu'il y a beaucoup de choses qui sont proposées. Mais tout ça, ça demande du temps. Et il est évident que dans le continent africain, ce dont on manque le plus, c'est de temps. Les gens voilà, manquent de temps. Et donc, la question principale serait comment maximiser le temps des bénévoles, des Wikimédiens africains pour réussir à mettre en place toutes ces choses de manière durable et fiable.
Okay, colleagues, I have to do this. I have to announce that the people that are going to be sleeping at the hotel, whose stay has been extended because of the strike that is happening with Kenyan Airways, they would need to register with, let just them come out and register with the event manager, Numas. There's a registration list there, so that, because the price to sleep here, we've got them at a discounted price, so that when we add, for the next, we still get that discounted price. So if you don't register, we're going to pay that discounted price, you're going to have to add the one that is not discounted. Yeah, but what I wanted to say, colleagues, what did I want to say? Okay. Oh, I wanted to talk about, I'm standing on behalf of Wiscom now. Yeah, I'm standing on behalf of Wiscom. Wiscom was founded, Wiscom stands for Wiki Indaba Steering Committee. It was founded, I think in 2017, or I think it's 2017. Yeah, so it was founded after it was realized that the people who are organizing the conference, they get burnout. These kinds of conferences, to organize them, you actually it can fry your brain. Yeah, you get fried, like seriously. So in order to prevent that, we've learned a lot of things. I've learned that now, actually I was observing here, I've learned that when we started translating, when we started interpreting and accommodating the French, I'm starting to see them contributing actively. But they were keeping quiet because they could not, catch some of the conversation. Something that we've learned about, next time when we put a grant application, we need to add what? A line item that has to do with translation, so that we include, So those are the kinds of things that we learn as Wiscom organizers. Derek is going to tell us who's going to be representing Rwanda. I hope it's him, because the communities, after we leave, the conference leaves, they have to select one member that will be standing, representing that community. And I know that it's one of the 4 people that were really been instrumental, been part of the organizing committee. So I hope, that we remember this, and then we add to the next representative. So Wiscom was founded in order to relieve the burden on the countries that are selected to organize this conference. It is founded to make sure that the conference happens every year. We don't have a break. Even if it's COVID-19, it still happens. But we are organizing it from the previous learnings that we've taken from the previous conferences, so that you don't start from the scratch, So in that regard, that's how Wiscom is formed. It's formed by those previous community members. Also, in that we have 2 members of the community who have not organized the conference, who are just there to learn. So now, actually that process of volunteering, we've actually sent out the application for people to apply, and they've applied. So we need to process who's going to be coming from the community, who's not hosted, who's going to be part of Wiscom. So that's how it's happening. The issue of scholarship,
when we applied for scholarship to host this conference, it was during the time of uncertainty. It was during the time of COVID-19. We did not know what was going to happen. This country was under lockdown. Many countries were under lockdown. We really did not know the numbers. We even did not know that this conference was going to take place. But because we are WISCOM, we want the conference to take place every year. You know, we applied regardless. So we said, what we're going to do, we're just only going to apply for 40 scholarships. We're going to put a line item that says we're applying for 40 scholarships, and then we times the money by the inflation that was happening at the time, which is, yeah, I don't know about in your currency, but yeah, we put that inflation and the line item there, and then all of a sudden, COVID-19 goes away. What happens? We've got a flood of community members. I think we've had 224, if I'm not mistaken, applications against 40 scholarships. You can imagine. It was. I think someone in the scholarship committee used the word that it was. I forget the word, but yeah, it was brutal. Yes, that's the word. It was brutal. Looking at the numbers there. So, but it was 26 countries that applied for scholarships to come here in this conference. We made sure. Oh, it's 28. Yes, it was 28 countries that applied for the scholarship, but we made sure that each and every one of those countries is represented here. We did make sure. No country that applied was not in. So we received backlash from experienced Wikipedians because they said, I'm not chosen in my community. But look at this person is not experienced. You know, he's chosen. No, we balance the number. We choose 2 from your country. One that is experienced, one that is not experienced. We also look at the categories. The selection process was very complex, but we try to be as fair as possible. If there's one person that is experienced that is coming, one is not coming. If we see that 2 of them, one is experienced, one is not experienced, and they are male, we balance the gender. That okay, this one, that is not experienced, okay, can be female, and then this one can be male. We make sure that everyone is coming. We find other challenges that we've had there was communities like Nigeria. Many experienced Wikipedians. Many experienced Wikipedians. And then other communities, we find that it's very less experienced Wikipedians, but still they need representation. So those are the challenges that we faced. But still we tried by as much as we can to balance. So yeah, it was brutal, but here we are again. And we also had 50 partial scholarships which were granted to the local community. This community of Rwanda is big. And it grew during the time of COVID-19 because people did not have anything to do. Wikipedia was their only means, you know. So they went on Wikipedia, they were introduced to this community. And then we cannot ignore those people. Someone, I think, articulated it very well. You know, that they are here and they don't understand what is happening, but whatever it is that we are doing here, you know, is very important for their, facilitation to be in Wikipedia, inclusion into Wikipedia. So they are here, 50 of them. And then maybe I can even break the numbers further that we had, you know, people that are paying for themselves. We've had, I think, 7 or 8. And then we've had foundation staff that is here. And then, yeah, so that's our conference. So basically, I wanted to address that issue of scholarships. I can talk about the program for days, but what I need you to know is that if, according to what I'm a Wikipedian for some years now, I know that when you're organizing an edit workshop, especially for newbies, you need to not take a long time explaining technical terms. The program needs to be divided into 2. The first one, principles of Wikipedia, where you explain what is Wikipedia, you take a break, and then after that we go to the technical part. But it does not need to be long. Just take 2 hours, 3 hours, introduce the people, you know, about the various, you know, basic, you know, understanding of Wikipedia, and then you close the edit workshop. Don't force them to understand. Just introduce. 3 hours tops, it's fine. And then they'll be fine. Here we've been sitting for hours. You know, I can see some of you know, are very tired you know, for listening us to talk. So, yeah, I can talk for days about the program. But we tried to avoid something like that, where we just bombard you with a lot of information, and we try to also balance. If you have more questions around that, you can come to us. we'll let you know. I've learned again, as an organizer, that time is important when you are running a project. I'm going to leave it there because I want to catch the time. So, yeah, I'm going to, yeah?
Okay.
Oh, yes, translation.
Here we go. All right. Bonjour les francophones. Alors, premier point d'abord d'organisation. Si vous avez un problème de vol et que à cause des grèves de Kenyan Airlines, vous êtes obligé de partir demain plutôt qu'aujourd'hui et qu'il vous faut une nuit en plus, allez au bureau d'information qui est juste à côté de là où on prend le petit-déj pour inscrire votre nom pour que vous ayez le même tarif que ce qui a été payé, ce qui a été négocié par Wiki Indaba à l'hôtel. Sinon, vous allez payer la différence. Donc allez bien au bureau d'information. Deuxièmement, le comité de Wiscom, donc on en parle depuis tout à l'heure. Wiscom, c'est la Wiki Indaba, enfin la commission de la Wiki Indaba. C'est formé par des gens qui ont déjà organisé les Wiki Indaba et on rajoute un membre chaque année, voilà, des gens qui ont organisé l'année précédente, ainsi que 2 membres qui n'ont jamais organisé. L'idée, c'est de les former. Ça fonctionne donc par itération, ils apprennent chaque année des erreurs et des succès de l'année précédente. Donc là, une des conclusions de cette année, c'est que l'année prochaine, il faut, dans la demande de subvention, mettre une ligne pour la traduction et pour avoir des écouteurs. Et ensuite, concernant les bourses, donc une petite explication de comment les bourses ont fonctionné. Un rappel, c'est que quand la demande de financement a été faite, c'était encore pendant la période Covid, et donc ils ne savaient pas très bien combien il y avait de personnes qui allaient vouloir venir et comment se passerait l'événement, donc ils ont demandé 40 bourses, sauf qu'au moment de faire les demandes de bourses, le Covid s'était à peu près terminé, et donc ils ont eu 224 demandes. Et qu'ils ont vraiment galéré pour choisir les bonnes personnes, donc ils ont essayé de se poser des questions de diversité et de représentativité. Il y avait 28 pays d'où venaient des Wikimédiens qui avaient fait des demandes, ils ont représenté chacun de ces 28 pays, ils ont pris au moins une personne de chaque pays, souvent plutôt 2 quand ils en avaient, donc c'était en général ils prenaient une personne expérimentée, une personne nouvelle, et ils ont essayé également de respecter la parité et d'inviter des femmes autant que des hommes. Et enfin, il y a eu 50 bourses partielles qui ont été données à des Rwandais pour qu'ils puissent venir s'entraîner parce que dans les formations, on leur apprend à contribuer à Wikipédia, mais pas forcément les dessous du mouvement. Donc là, c'était l'occasion de les fidéliser, en fait, de leur montrer le mouvement. Voilà.
Okay, colleagues, there's a surprise. Is it a surprise? No, it's a celebration. I'll invite Boris to come and announce what the celebration is about. And please announce about that thing again.
Thank you. Thank you, Bobby. Colleagues, so you are excited for the celebration? Yeah? How many people are celebrating today? All of us? And excited to close the conference? Well, thank you, Bobby, again. And thank you for the patience for all of you. And so I would like to, I'm not going to take a long time. So as we have like so many projects, so today we have a new baby, which is Wikidata, and we are celebrating the 10 years of Wikidata existence. And I would like to welcome, Amen.
Uprise music, baby. Flag, I got the recipe.
Kwanza na furaha nitaimba.
Join us. Come.
And I would also like to call Valentin, because yesterday we organized the Wikidata Editathon, and we have a gift for him, because he was the one with the highest numbers of edits.
So at Wiki World Heritage, we believe in the power of Wikidata, and it's our favorite project. That's why we have this cake to celebrate the birthday.
Thank you. Let's go back to our seat. you, thank you. Let's go back to our seats so that we can close the conference. Let's go back.
So we'll take the cake. It might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here. You can take a break.
We'll take the cake to the restaurant, and then we'll have the plates to cut it and to eat it there. So, thank you.
I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got,
Please,
don't hold
let's
back.
go back.
Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why, because I'm happy. Clap along.
Let's have a seat again so that we can close. Let's go back.
You need to announce about what I did not announce, right? The hotel thing, and then after that you call him. Yeah, you call him.
Can you have a seat? Can you have a seat, please? Hello? Thank you. I think we are all happy with the celebration, and I would like to add a few things about what Bobby announced a little bit earlier about the hotel. So those who need to register, so some will go to a nearby hotel, and some will stay here. So I urge you so that we can go and register. We know so those who will stay here and those who will go to a nearby hotel. Thank you. And I would like to call Ben, so that you have a speech.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry, my voice, ma voix est disparue grâce à Anas. No, so sorry, my voice is hoarse. I just wanted to speak. My name is Ben Vershbau. Also, Anas made a good point. We should all take extra care to communicate our roles, where we fit into this big picture of Wikimedia. So I will repeat once again. My name is Ben Vershbau. I'm the Director of Community Programs at the Wikimedia Foundation. Our team contains cultural heritage work, education work, campaign organizing work. Felix, Melissa, Sailash, they're on my team. I just wanted to speak on behalf of the foundation to thank the organizers. But first, a quick reflection. Yesterday, many of us, I think most of us, took a very sobering journey, paid a visit to the Genocide Memorial, the Kigali Genocide Memorial, and I think received a very heavy lesson. As an American of Jewish heritage, it's an especially painful and kind of powerful reminder that these things have happened and then happened again, and the importance of countries like Rwanda being teachers to the world. As we moved into the garden, we were greeted with messages of unity and reminded of the powerful and inspiring recovery of this country from the tragedy of not even 20 years ago. And that unity message is something I'm going to definitely carry home with me, and I think would do well for the movement to remember. And I just want to say, this conference has taken such an incredible journey over the last 3 days, and I'm so proud of the way the conversation was coming together at the end of this day, with people spontaneously translating into French or self-translating, everyone coming together to fill those gaps, to pull together, to see the big picture. I think it's a beautiful way to kind of close this conference, and I hope we can build on that energy. We at the foundation have been listening very intently to this. We will be really trying to think how we can do better to respond and maintain two-way dialogue so that we can be your ally and your support in reaching the African agenda. But don't wait for us. Also tell us what we should be doing and tell us what you're doing so we can align. So there's just a few reflections I wanted to share. Last but certainly not least, I just want to give a huge round of applause to the organizers, to Community User Group Rwanda. If I know for a young user group, organizing a conference like this is an amazing opportunity, also a trial by fire. So I just want to honor the roller coaster ride I know you have all been on. So maybe if the organizers could stand up, Derek, Rebecca, Clementine, anyone who else is here would like to stand up. This is a massive, yes. And I will stop talking and hand it over to Derek and whoever else from the user group would like to make some closing remarks. But thank you again. This was a marvelous conference, and I've learned so much. Thank you.
Wow. Good afternoon once again. Wow. Like we never thought we would reach this day. That's the truth. Yes. So for now, do we have? Oh, okay. Now the real Deok is here. Yes. So I'll begin with appreciations, then go to the apologies. I begin with apologies, right? Yes, and then we end with appreciations, so that we can go home in a dancing mode and happy mood, right? Hello. Yes. So usually I'm not good at reading things. I like talking from my head. When I read, it becomes too much. Yes. So I'll begin with apologizing on behalf of all the people who have been in the organizing team. A person may have, one thing I learned from this is that human management, I think, is the hectic form of management. Isn't it the case? Yes, because you may be giving me tea and I'm expecting water. So before you even say anything, I'm off, because you're giving me tea and I'm expecting water. So it has not been easy. So we may have, maybe in one way or another, not met your expectations 100%, but we tried our best. Is that true? Yes. So if anything has gone wrong in any way, I would like to take that responsibility and apologize on behalf of everyone. Before I go to another item, the first time when we began, we informed people about the friendly space policy. At the moment, we didn't receive any report. So before I congratulate ourselves, I would like to give 1 minute for a person who might have experienced harassment and maybe they never took a further step to report. Do we have any? If we have any, please, by show of hand. Oh, okay. Yes. So if we have, oh, yes, we have one. I had to do this because usually it's, yes. So we are going to have, because still, even if we said, please come here and tell us the kind of harassment you faced, then it would be, actually would be, it wouldn't be good. Yeah.
If there are any complaints, I think they should be handled discreetly, so not on the main floor. So the request should be to report to the information desk and the people responsible. Yeah, so please do that discreetly. That's the request. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. So for a person who has experienced harassment, thank you so much for that.
Derek, I would like, nevertheless, I agree that if there is any harassment, it should be mentioned privately.
Yes.
But in this case, I would like to explain just why I showed my hand, because it's
yeah.
not harassment from a person. Everybody was absolutely on their best behavior, I think, I hope.
Yes.
So it's absolutely not that. The only thing that really annoyed me last night was the movie that was displayed in the bus. There were some elements in the movie displayed in the bus which I think was not okay.
Oh, yes.
So it's absolutely not people here, and you guys probably you were not involved into this display at all. But I'm just mentioning it because I thought it was not so cool.
Yes.
That's it. But
could we please clap for
everyone was
her?
great.
Yes, because the reason why I said we should clap for her, people's faces were changing. They're like, what happened to her? So she made it very clear. So in case you have a person who experienced harassment of any kind, please report to the information desk, because it wouldn't make sense for a person to come here and they... Isn't it the case? Yes, thank you so much. So we are going to the appreciations item on our agenda. So I kept meeting people alongside the way, and they just hugged me. They're like, oh, Derek, thank you so much. You did good. I even started receiving gifts. But the honest part of it, the person you're seeing here couldn't be able to arrange all this alone. That's the reality. So with that being said, I would like to begin with appreciating our government. So far we don't have a government representative, but I know in one way or another this message is going to reach them. So we couldn't be doing whatever we are doing here if we didn't have peace. We couldn't be doing whatever we are doing if we didn't have a supporting and supportive government. Hello? And I think people, since we are representing different communities, so there are people who really know what I mean. You want to do something good that benefits the entire world, but the government says, you know what? No. So on behalf of the people who attended this, because from the testimonies, it has been a nice experience. So I would like to appreciate our government. For those who went to the Genocide Memorial Site yesterday, I think you didn't have enough time, but at least you have a picture of how Rwanda looked like in the past 28 years. So it takes a lot of, for the lack of a better word, I would say it takes a lot of effort to come from how Rwanda looked like in 28 years up to what we see today. And I just pray we keep seeing the same things happening in other countries, African countries. So I appreciate the government of Rwanda for providing a space where people like Wikimedians can sit, address their ideas without being afraid, where people can walk and they're not afraid of being kidnapped. So we appreciate the government of Rwanda. Secondly, I appreciate each and everyone who attended this. I know behind your backs, there are so many community members who couldn't come here. But I believe they were well represented. So I thank you so much. I would like to extend my appreciations to when it comes to these people, the WISCOM team, Wiki Indaba Steering Committee. I would like to ask those ones who are around to just stand up for recognition. WISCOM committee members. Before they sit, it's very hard to do something when you're doing it for the first time, because you don't have any learning points, you don't have any information about what worked and didn't work out. So these people were there, they guided us from the first day up to date. So I would really like us to appreciate them again. Yeah. With that being said, when these people come back to your countries, please do not stone them, because I'm told when people come for conferences like this, they want to know the people who are behind everything, the technical part of it. So some people may be asked, oh, so you were the people selecting people, and my sister was not selected to be here, so you're the one. So whatever that was done, it was done for the benefits of our communities. And Bobby talked about it. Imagine having 224 people, of which we're supposed to select 40. It's the hardest thing to do. So I really want to appreciate them. Then I would like to also recognize Bobby. Wow, when I'm thanking people, I get emotional, because it takes me back to the reasons why I'm really appreciating them. So this journey began when we didn't even know how Wiki Indaba looks like, because our first Wiki Indaba was virtual, like for the community in Rwanda. So we were attending it virtually, the one that took place, that was organized by the community user group in Uganda. So we didn't know, like, in reality, how does Wiki Indaba look like? So we had meetings with Bobby. We'd have meetings at around 2 a.m. Yeah. Yes. Yes, that's the reality. You have a meeting that starts at 6, you're addressing one thing, before you know it, there's another issue, and you're supposed to handle these issues, and it reaches around 2 a.m. You send an email, an urgent email, and you send it at midnight, before it clocks 5 p.m., I mean 5 a.m. in the morning, Bobby has already responded. So I would really like us to stand up. I know I'm asking for too much, but we are not taking from our pockets. So we stand up and thank him in a special way. Yes, I would also like to appreciate Geoffrey. The people who are even seeing it, which camera is recording this? Which one? I think the media people could notify me. Yeah? Okay, the media people, like which camera? Am I? This one? No, I want to know the camera, because this message goes to the people who are online. That's why. Okay, so let me assume it's this one. So for the people who are online, you couldn't be following all this if it was not because of Bobby and the Wiki in Africa team and BTN. And that will lead me to this message. So for the online people, that was your specific message. So this leads me to the message that I want to extend to the WMF grants teams and so on. I know there's so many regional grants team and so on. So we really, we all know you can't do this without money, right? So I would like us to appreciate the WMF for sponsoring the whole event. And in the same regard, I would like to make a recommendation to the people, even if it's a community and you're the person responsible for grants giving in your community, I'm addressing this message to you. Before we tell people who are in need of grants, before we tell them messages like this, oh, this is too much, you're asking for too much money. This only applies in the US. Africa has changed. I know there are people who came here and they are like, is this really Africa? No, that's the reality. I talked to people. So things have changed, and that's the reality. So it gives, it's very sad if you write something on a budget and a person tells you, actually, read, does this apply in Africa? Things have changed. The way the West gets affected by COVID, the Ukraine war, the same happens here in Africa. So if we keep advising people on what they should do on budgets, reflecting on the events that happened in 2019, we may be lying ourselves. That's the truth. The previous organizers of Wiki Indaba may be really getting what I'm talking about. It's really sad if I tell you, okay, we're using transport, for instance, for $2,000, and like, 2,000 in Africa, really? It's really hard. So I would like, it's a recommendation that the next time when you're having bigger events like this now for Wiki Indaba, please, before we tell people this is too much to ask, please even make a visitation, go there and see what's happening. Because it will be very easy for the organizers and you who is funding them. Some people may not like to hear what I'm saying, but I know if we are disliked from here, at least in that process, the next organizers, it will be very easy for them. Isn't it the case? Yes. We wouldn't be doing whatever we did without the team of amazing people. Marketing, touch, event management. Okay, the NUMAs. Now, so many people know NUMA. So I would like to ask people from marketing touch to stand up and we recognize them. Yes. Now, for all the people who are here, there is a gift for you all. Oh, some people have received gifts, right? Because you're not excited about the gifts. Yes, so there are some gifts that are ready for everyone who attended this, and we hope you go with it. If you leave it behind, it is still good, I will take care of it. But please don't leave it behind. So we are also giving certificates to the partners and sponsors. We want, even if it's 10 years, for them to look back and say, oh, so this people appreciated that we sponsored them or partnered with them. So it's in the same regards that I would like to. But before I do that, I would like to call these three people here. Boris, Clementine, actually the local organizing committee. If they come here, I think it may take so long, right? Yeah, so let them stand. Because when we talk about the community in Rwanda, people hear of Derek, but I want this to end today. Derek doesn't operate alone. If I was to operate alone, you would be here and the only person in Rwanda, it would be me. So I don't operate alone. So all the local organizing committee, please stand up. If you can, please come here. And let's do it very fast. I'm not seeing the other people. Prote, Rosine, Germain, Vava. I'm not seeing you people. What's happening? No, not yet. Rosine, Prote, Gatete, yes. Please hurry. Alice. Yes, within the interest of time, I would like to tell these people, I think I'll be giving them a mic and they just say their name. So if they reach out, just know the person, who they are. And from now on, I believe we won't have any issues with contacting any person from Rwanda, because you may send an email and I respond after 5 days. So if you have a contact of any of these, you're safe. So these people helped us also from day one. They're part of our community, but they were part of the local organizing committee. So all the sleepless nights we are talking about, these people would be part of it. So they will just say their names, and I think we just, so that we can end this in a few seconds. Oh, okay, and the department they were in, okay.
Where is the Prote from logistics?
GTT Pacific Communication.
Alice Mcheshimana, Partnership and Sponsorship Team.
Rosine Igirimuhe, Logistic.
Valentine, Communication.
Germain, Logistics.
Thank you so much, Derek. Okay, Rebecca, Jeanette, Mono, in charge of community engagement and partnerships. But let me take 1 minute to appreciate our partners who came on board and really supported us. First, the first person I would love to appreciate, Gwanda Mountain Tea. Actually, some of the gift, the gift you received yesterday, it's not from our local community. It's Rwanda Mountain Tea who provided such gifts and the best ever. I hope you will enjoy if you get back. And then we have Africa Union. Kindly clap for them. Yes, I would love appreciate again Africa Tech led you. Wiki in Africa, BTN, Derek has mentioned, they really supported us. Till now, they are still supporting. BTN, we appreciate you that much. Yes. As he said, we have a support from the government, but there are main actors who had best practices with us. There's Rwanda Heritage Academy. They've been supporting us throughout 2 years since we started. As a smaller group. And there is a Ministry of ICT. You know, some people, they know we have a project to work with them in the next year. Also, we have, Mini Youth as well. They supported us and they are ready to support us. I hope I didn't forget anyone, but mostly I would like to appreciate Wikimedia Foundation and Movement Strategy Team. Thank you so much.
Boris?
Salut, je suis Clémentine Nyirahabihirwe. Je faisais partie de Logistic Team. Merci.
Thank you. I'm Boris from the programs team, and I would really like to thank this amazing team and the whole international team that was behind us. And it's a really huge honor to have you all, and I hope you enjoyed your stay. And I would like to thank you all for the patience. It's been intense, a lot of sessions, back and forth, but we are very thankful that you hold until the end of this day. Thank you.
Yes, so we could clap for them as they just go to sit. So we are giving, I think the ushers could start distributing the gifts, right? So that we don't have time for gifts and then we have time for these other things. Yes, so as they give the gifts, we're going to be giving certificates to the partners, right? So for the future hosts of Wiki Indaba, please, if you need advices, I think now we have lots of them. So the people are asking who is next. Bobby, would you wish to say something? Okay.
Maybe I'll allow you to finish and then I can talk about the process of what is happening with who is next.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, so we are going to be giving these certificates, and as I said, Derek has been talked about so many times. He has appeared in so many pictures, but he's not the only person in Rwanda. So I would like to take this opportunity to call one person from our members who has not appeared here to come. So as we are giving certificates, it will be one person from, it will be Bobby from Wiscom, one person from the community in Rwanda, and Ben on the side of Wikimedia Foundation, right? Hello? Yes, so I will make sure I will not appear in any of those pictures, but I will have a representative, a community member. Okay, yes, she has, yes, so, okay. So, let's do that. So we're having Ben coming here, Bobby coming here. So Numa will be helping us in reading the name, and then the person, yes. Oh, Ben, you're coming. Yeah. So you're helping in handing over the certificates. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Ben. Yes. So for all pictures that will appear with
Benin.
she represents the whole community in Rwanda. Hello. Yes. So Numa will be reading the name. Yes, Ben, you're coming. So you'll be helping in handing over the certificate. So the three of us, WMF, Wiscom, and the Wikimedia User Group Rwanda, right?
Right. So since most of these partners or sponsors, they are not around here, but we'll hold this certificate for a group photo for a proper handover after. All right, Ministry of ICT and Innovation, Rwanda Culture Heritage Academy, African Union, Africa Tech Radio. Not represented. Wiki in Africa. Rwanda Mountain Tea. The one and only one, Mr. Ahmed, the CEO of BTN Rwanda. Please come forward for your certificate. Here is the message on the certificate. The logo up there is Wiki Indaba 2022 Partnership Appreciation Certificate. This certificate is presented to the sponsor for partnering with Wikimedia User Group Rwanda to host the 7th Wiki Indaba Conference 2022 in Rwanda. We appreciate you, given to this date. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. I hope as they distribute the gifts, yes, you know. So I think I won't appear here again, talking about so many things. On behalf of the entire community, we really thank you so much. We thank you for trusting us. May the good Lord bless you so much. For those taking off today, for those who are going back to their countries today, we wish you a safe journey, and for those who are traveling tomorrow, we wish you the same. So after Bobby, I think we are going, the group photo, so we are having it from here. Okay. So as Bobby is going to talk about the next Wiki Indaba, and then after that we have a group photo, and then we head out for lunch as the other people register, and we go to eat. Thank you so much. We have even loved you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Derek. I'm not going to take a long time. I'm going to talk facts. Not facts, man. I'm going to stick to the important points, talking points. Okay, I explained about the role and responsibility of Wiki Indaba Steering Committee, WISCOM. I want to explain about the process to the next Wiki Indaba conference. That's what I want to focus on. Now, earlier on, I explained why do we have a WISCOM, and it was to relieve the previous organizers of the conference. That is one reason. The other reason that I did not talk about was how do we get to choose the next country? Because there was no real process to say who hosts, the next country. And then WISCOM serves as that mechanism to ensure that there is a fair process and that there's a clear process as well to choose the next host country. Wiki Indaba is not a South African conference or a West African conference or a North African. It's an African conference. That's why we don't care about, don't care, but that's why we don't, I don't know what words to use, but I don't want to use care. That's why we don't have any problem with, Wiki Franca. There was one in Dubai now. Those are conferences. We support them actually, But Wiki Indaba conference is for Africa. Whether the colleagues from the north, they went to Dubai, still we support them. But if they win the bid to host Wiki Indaba, we go there, in Egypt or whatever it is, Maghreb area. If it's Wiki Franca, the conference goes there, So the conference, okay, so it works like this. So number one, you need to be affiliated. That's very important. You need to, in your country, as we are sitting here, if you have sponsored yourself to come to the conference and you have the desire to host Wiki Indaba, for the conference to come to your country, the first thing that you need to do is to be affiliated to the Wikimedia Foundation, to be an affiliate, whether you use a group or a chapter. That's number one. And then the second step that you need to do, you need to look out for our call for applications to host the conference. So what happens is that we have a call, every year for all countries, for all affiliates, let me not call them countries, for all affiliates in the African continents to say, hey, we want to host the conference for, next year. Bring your applications, and then people, submit their applications. And then we look at when was the last conference held the last time? Do you have capacity? Are you in good standing, as a chapter, or as a user group with the Wikimedia Foundation and with the community at large, And we look at those kinds of things. And then we do our selection to ensure that the conference actually it's circulated around the African continent. It does not stay in a single place. So this vote happens, or scoring happens between us as WISCOM members, the people who have hosted the conference before, plus the volunteers who are part of the community. They may not, the volunteers, by the way, they may not necessarily be part of an affiliate, but they can be, community members, African community members like you and I. So after we complete that voting and scoring process, we then announce which is the next country. So we've learned some couple of things, in that process as well, because we are learning as we are going, We've learned some couple of things. What we did the previous time was to announce where the conference is going in the next year. But we've learned that we should not do it like that. We should actually announce 2 years that, okay, next year is 2023, right? It's going to, and then in 2024, it's also going to, like how they announced the World Cup, we know which country it's going to go to. So yeah, we have decided going forward that we are going to do that. Rather than announce one country, we're going to announce 2 countries where it's going, where the conference will be going. and the reason we have come to that conclusion was because what I'm going to tell you right now. We have called previously the countries that we're going to be hosting the conference. And we did our selection, and then we find out, okay, this is the country. It's Rwanda. And we assisted Rwanda in hosting the conference. But we realized that if we actually selected 2 countries, you know, Rwanda this year and next year, the country that was going to be hosting next year was going to actually work with Rwanda so that they also learn, so that they are prepared, you know? Yeah. So in that regard, we did not select any country for this year. So what's going to be happening going forward is that in the early, or in the second week, because in the first week we are still coming from holiday. Yeah, in the second week of January, we're going to send out a call for applications to affiliates. And then we're going to spend another 3 weeks, which is, I think, the end of January. So in the first week or the second week of January, that's when we're going to announce the next host, the 2 next hosts of where the conference will be going for the next 2 years. So yeah, that's what's going to be happening going forward. Are there any questions in the room? Or I did not prepare you to think about questions. I can see you're tired. Yeah, but going forward, that's how the WISCOM selection is going to be going. And we are hoping that, we received very good applications, by the way, last time. It's just that there were technical issues. Very, very important, colleagues. If you're doing your projects, that's the other thing that I forgot to mention. If you're doing your projects, or you were doing a project, and you did not submit your report, because before we announce to the community, I mean, before we announce who's going to be hosting for the community, we also need to check with the Wikimedia Foundation whether you are in good standing in terms of your report, your finances, and stuff like that. If we find out that there's a report that was, you know, not submitted, we cannot grant you, you know. So, yeah, all of those are some of the issues that we are looking at. So, yeah, we'll explain the whole process. You know, the whole prerequisite in the call to apply. So yeah, we are hoping to see more applications this next call, so that we can, you know, apply, so that we can announce, and then yeah, looking forward to bring it to a different country, and looking forward to have even a more inclusive Wiki Indaba with double the number that we have here. So thank you so much. Yeah, let me look at the time. I've got 5 minutes to answer you. I'm going to take this question and then that question.
Host it again.
Ah, that's a good question. All right, I'm going to take that.
It's I don't know if it's a question. It's just that if you're going to make a file to receive proposals, maybe add in a question to know if people want to host 2023 or 2024, because some might not want to apply for 2023, but they would like to apply for 2024.
Ah, I'm noting that. Yeah, you're noting that, right? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes. All right. Yeah. So what to answer you? So it's 4 years actually. We hosted it in 2014, so it means that we are eligible to host it again. And when I'm saying we, I mean Wikimedia South Africa. Yeah. So it's actually 4 years gap. Yeah. Yeah, 4 years. So if they are hosting it now, my maths is not good. 20, what is 4 years from now? Yeah, so after 4 years, yeah, so they can host it after 2026. In 2026 or after 2026? After 2026, yes. Yeah, do me. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. I think that's a very good, explanation, clear and concise. Yeah, without promising, because you might apply and think you're going to host again, but there's a condition there. But exactly. So, colleagues, I hope you understand. And yeah, I think now is time for group photo. And then I don't know who's going to sit here because we are thousands of people here. Sorry. Oh, okay. Maybe you can direct that. Yeah, colleagues. Our conference ends here. Can we clap our hands for ourselves? That's a round pick of ours. Yes. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll let Numas direct this part.
Okay, let's proceed. We are going to have few people sitting here, and others will have lines here behind. Please come forward.
Sorry, yeah, I forgot. There's a feedback survey that I forgot, to talk about. Yeah, so we're gonna send you a feedback survey on the Telegram group where all of us, I believe, we are there. And then, please respond so that we know how this conference was. Thank you. Over to you.
Please come forward. Come forward.
And if you're looking at fighty, I saw me to look. Gelato honey, oh baby, sumoyo, deep. Baby, kona, waka when you enter my licha. Baby, kona, will you give me sugar, wala. Macho Mona Lisa,
Please come forward. Check out time. Lorenzo, please come forward. Messieurs, vous approchez.
Girl, I'll be foolish if I don't let you indulge me. Your lips like poison. Hit you.